so much today, Internet.
Pasties.
Can you help me with this? So many pasties and scones and noodles. Noodles were involved at some point.
Scones.
This is not just a north-south divide. This is like a down the centre of the country divide. This beer will help. Lager.
Lager.
It is scones.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the Britishness so far, talking about pasties, scones.
Look, if it's not scone,
then
the joke doesn't work.
I'm saying scones. We are currently 5 intrepid adventurers, if you count myself, about to do some intrepid D&D. Thank you very much for joining us. If it's your first time, look back through the back catalogue. It's all on YouTube. Figure it out. It's a beautiful thing. If you are an old fan, welcome back. Hopefully you'll join us for the next couple of hours as we do some kind of dice rolling, dragons, understanding where life comes from, all of these things and more in Diorama.
Pink lemonade?
Mom!
To anyone.
Nice.
Hello again. Welcome back.
That was great.
Hopefully you enjoyed the intro. That's a list of characters that we're no longer playing, so you might be even more clueless than you were previously.
Can you CGI different? We'll just change the names.
We might have, we might have changed the names, but
at least the actors are the same.
Yeah.
Well, the actors are the same, but the characters are different. So we'll get you part with.
Where am I?
Where am I? You find yourselves in the room of an inn. Around you are relatively cheap tables. They're circular. There's people sat here and there. Nobody particular of note, apart from a barman who you've got to know.
Is it, just for clarity, sorry to interrupt, is it a slightly jovial inn?
It's
just going to affect the music choice.
Yeah, it's like 6 to 7 out of 10 for joviality.
Okay.
From like somebody's wearing one of those hats with bells on would be a 10.
Okay.
And like 0 would be you're currently in a wake.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Someone laughs
6
or 7.
Someone laughs out loud in a corner, but then they like pipe themselves down.
Yeah, they stifle it.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep the noise down. Yeah.
Not too tense.
A respectful amount of intermediary noise would be about right. You find yourselves together. You are drinking a mixture of mostly ale around the table, apart from a Lantrix, which is having fresh water. Which
it doesn't look so fresh.
Thatcher's freshly made, hazy, fresh water. The rest of you, I think, are drinking ale. It's getting late in the day by now. You're probably into the evening. You are together. You are drinking. You're discussing the events of the day, perhaps. Pray continue.
Felix will portray all of the things that he found when he went up into the room. Which wasn't a lot, to be honest. There were paper jottings about names and recruits. It seemed that let's just call him a dude. This dude that was preaching in the street. As much as he was, he had ravings like written down. He did believe what he was saying. So it didn't seem like he was recruited by the elves before he was murdered. So there's that. And then he just tucks into a big old ale. Beard full of ale for later.
Remember that it came in human measures.
Yeah, and his little
halfling
paws.
measures.
Is your so good?
Or elven measures. So it's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a veritable stein
Oh, very wet.
The ale's actually pretty good. It's
Yeah?
quite lively. It's relatively flavoursome. Are you much of an ale drinker? Does Felix drink a lot?
Felix drinks a lot of ale.
Cool.
Yeah.
In which case, it's relatively good. You quite. Yeah,
It's his drink of choice.
Yeah, it's hoppy. It's quite nice. It's
You got to remember, he
relatively
tastes a lot more than you guys do as well.
fresh. Yeah.
So he can kind of trace it back to where it was made. Like he's like, this is it's a fine vintage.
Then you'll know that it's a dry hot ale.
Yeah. It's
Which
very dry.
yeah, it helps protect against it going bad for longer.
Nice.
Which means it's probably brewed from somewhere relatively far away from where you are, which
Okay.
is a mark of quality for you.
Yeah. You can taste the wood that it travelled in.
You taste the chime we're looking for.
You can complete all of this season just by drinking this one ale.
Yeah.
The water is also good.
The empty pint goes down. So, what are we going to do next? You talk to the barman. What did he tell you? I don't want to match you. I want to know.
What did he tell me?
D&D rules, if you've forgotten it, never happened.
A story about the Lord's mistress,
Oh yeah.
and he was possibly indicating there might be a good idea if we went and visited the ruins.
The Mist House.
Yes, the house where she used to live.
Okay.
Smells like a side quest to me.
He also, not that I know this, he pulled you in tight and did mention magic. There was concern and rumour of the Duke perhaps using magic.
That's right. Yes.
To revive his
Which
old wife.
caused much raised eyebrows.
Yeah. The eyebrows hit the roof.
Yeah.
While Felix was crowbarring things.
Thank
you
you.
notice another ale is just placed on the bar in front of you. As
Nice.
the barman goes up and down.
Good stuff, this. So, is that where we're heading next?
I guess so.
Gonna stay here for the night, or are we gonna head out? Club.
You'll notice as you're discussing, it's getting late in the day, more people are joining. And at first you just think it's getting later in the evening and people are kind of getting to the tavern. And it probably is that, but equally you notice as people start filtering in that they are wet through, they're drenched. So it seems that the weather has turned.
I forgot to mention, and like sprays ale with his paw all over the place. He came through the gnome gate. I've got his ticket. Oh, here's it's been stamped, everyone. So yeah, just FYI, which way he came. So if there is dealings to deal with purchasing arms, etc., he might be involved. Just FYI. By the way, this is a fine vintage, and it's come from very far.
Should we head out?
How's everyone feeling? Did we heal up last time, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think anyone's taken any damage, have they?
No, I don't think so.
No, we had a long
because we had a
long
rest
old
during the night.
I feel pretty good. And under cover of night, who knows what we can go up to?
I get the impression it's raining out there. Just a FYI.
Well, I've got this fine canvas coat.
At least we won't have to put up with the smell of wet dog.
You will eventually.
Do we know where this place is?
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 Through conversation, Balsam will have told you that it was a place that was often free. People, as they visited the city, would hear the story, and it wasn't uncommon for people to want to go and look at it. It's fairly reasonable he would have told you that it was through the northern gate of the city. So you would be entering into what he called the Renthar estate, which was the land directly owned by the Duke.
Do we know if there's free travel to there, or is that going to cause us issues? Barkeep. This northern estate where the Duke is.
Yes.
Is there free travel from there, or?
Well, you'll have to travel through the gates. So similar to, well, it depends which way you came in. Did you come in from the south? Through the bright gate.
The bright gate.
Yeah.
The
similar-
really bright one.
Yeah. Similar gate to that, I guess. It's the way out of the city, and you go into the estate.
My major concern is there was a lot of hard work to get in here, and if we get out, then we have to get in again. So if there's anything we want to check in your city, it's probably worth doing now.
Are you telling me this?
What?
I'm sorry.
Another point, please.
Right, okay.
He turns to the group, but like, awkward moment.
Was there anything worth seeing in the city?
Well, what kind of things are you looking for? Yeah, tourist attractions. We're the last city on the way to the northeastern gate to the Gnomish land. So all kinds of weird trinkets, things you can buy.
The apocalyptic phenomena.
Good question.
Sorry? What's...
I have recently been exposed to a little thing called lead. Have you heard of lead? It's like a soft metal.
I suppose so, yeah.
Well, you can take your lead and you can heat it right up.
Yeah.
And you can pour it into a mold. You can go little soldiers. Is there any way I can buy some of them?
Are you going to try and eat it?
Not the lead, no. No, I learned that lesson the hard way.
Small... We don't do a lot of smelting in the city,
No.
generally speaking.
No, maybe
Probably the
that,
odd blacksmith here and there.
maybe that's south of the old Bright Gate.
Yeah, that's probably somewhere you'd find people working with lead. Plenty of tailors though, if that thing takes you fancy.
If we wanted easy travel through the gates, how would we go about it? How do you go in and out of the city?
I'm a citizen, so I can kind of come and go as I please. For
They
the
give
most
you
part.
like a little card.
No, I'm known here, so they know who I am.
You're a gnome here.
No, I'm known here. People
Okay.
know me. I've been the proprietor of this pub for probably about 15 spells now. Is that right?
How old are
Something
you?
like that.
How old are you?
It's a very personal question to ask me.
I'll ask it politer. If you had to give a number,
I'm 45.
thank you. Okay. That was a long time. Have you always wanted to be a barkeep? Stop
Well,
him
it's
at any
good.
time.
Yeah, it's good. Good trades. You meet interesting people, much like you fine fellows, and it's one of the jobs we don't have to be judgmental, which is nice. You have to keep your nose clean, make sure you stay out of trouble. But
He licks his own nose. He says that.
Speaking of staying out of trouble,
yes,
Caston does the same.
this fellow who was killed earlier on, and his ravings and rantings. Did he have sort of an audience, a willing audience around here?
he did. Yeah, a lot of people were starting to listen to him. I suppose a lot of us were waiting for the Duke to make his appearance and kind of decide one way or the other how he wanted to deal with it.
That appears to have happened.
Well, the Duke never made an appearance. It looks like our new guest decided to take it upon himself to instruct our local lawman, which is probably looking to hear the end of that for a little while.
Do you know much about this new arrival, these new elves in town?
Indomitus. Yeah, I heard the name. It's a strong name. Don't know much about him really. Normally when you get elves of that stature up here, we hear about it for weeks beforehand. The Duke makes a big fuss of trying to make everything look prim and proper, and they're normally here for administrative reasons, so people check accounts, reports, that kind of thing. Somebody might come in here, make sure all of our trade is above board, if that makes sense, but we don't run into a lot of trouble. Everybody knows we're on the way to Shadecap, so everyone knows to keep the nose clean, otherwise you let the wrong sword in and all of a sudden this whole place would be overrun with crime. But we have to keep a pretty tight ship, knowing that most of the folk that are travelling this way are either going to the Gnomish lands on trade delegations or sending somebody off to Shadecap to not return.
So there was no indication that these were going to, no forewarning of this arrival.
Came in, last night maybe, this morning.
Unusual.
And they're renting the finest room in the place. They're probably spending an awful lot of gold to be here.
They're staying here.
Not here, no.
Oh,
the
okay.
city.
They got quite a lot.
They're staying here, I'd be set for life.
Yeah.
I don't know if they don't murder me by the time they leave.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of trade delegations, we've heard a couple of people talking about this
Phantom Menace situation. Yeah.
about this some sort of a weapons trading thing happening.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about that?
Is it like a fair?
No, you mentioned it. Gendar did talk about it a couple of times. A lot of people were setting up for it as he left. What was it called now? It was Stiltmeyer. He had some kind of outlandish gnomish name. But yeah, Stiltmeyer is well known. He's an inventor, if you like. Yeah, he makes contraptions. The elves like contraptions. A lot of the industry and everything they do is kind of underpinned by the gnomish work. It's why gnomes get a pretty good deal as far as getting into cities is concerned. And yeah, makes all kinds of things for the army. For if you need to deal with a lot of people very quickly, Stiltmeyer's normally got a solution for you.
You word that kind of strange. Deal with a lot of people very quickly. It seems that this guy wanted to deal with pretty much anyone who was of not a pure race very quickly.
Yeah?
It's a weird way to...
He hasn't got the kind of gold to work with Stiltmeyer's. Works with the highest bidder, shall we say.
Speaking of strange breed,
Yes.
come close. I heard, and I heard this from a good source, that there was a wood elf that came through here. Have you seen
elf?
it? Have you seen any wood elves?
I haven't seen a wood elf. A very, very long time, not here. And they'd probably stay here if they came through, thinking about it.
There's no groups of wood elves around here? No enclaves?
Not as far as I know.
Grazie.
Okay, then we head to the north gate.
Agreed.
To head out now? Or
Is that
wait
that
till the
on?
morning?
Is that on the way to the northeast?
Well, it's the north of the city.
Do you have to pass through it to get to the northeast?
No, you can go, well, you could do, but then you'd have to go through Renthar Estate. It'd be a strange way to go. You'd probably want to head back through the Bright Gate.
But it's permissible.
Yeah.
It wouldn't look unusual.
No, people would probably try and redirect you to the south and go up Trader's Mile. That's the way that everybody else goes.
Okay, thank
But
you.
in theory, yeah. Well, if you're going to see the Mist House, most people do. It's not unusual for travellers to go and see it. I'm not sure if everyone's going to be a bit more twitchy now that, yeah, there's been political dealings in the city, should we say. So, good luck to you, but hey, if you want a room, you're very welcome to stay.
Lantric's going to put her hood up, a white hood from her cloak, and bid the barkeeper Jew. And walk
Well,
out.
remember me as you go on your travels. Hopefully you can come stay another time.
Thank you. Thank you for your help and your hospitality.
Thank you.
Felix is going to take a pad full of stones out of his canvas cloak and just put them on the bar like it's a tip.
Yeah.
He's going to go, choose.
He's going to take it. He doesn't want to be impolite. He doesn't really know what you are. So he's going to be like, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Some of my favourite stones.
So you head out into the waning light. It's relatively late in the evening. You don't really know what time, but the sun is probably setting and it's golden spell, so that makes it pretty late. On top of that, it's raining heavily, you notice as soon as you step out. There's this kind of, probably about 6 foot veranda, if you like, which is the top floor of the building, juts out slightly and it's held up by timbers. So you're kind of not immediately in the rain, but as you kind of step out, you notice that it's raining fairly heavily. It's passing down the side of this building. You note, and this isn't unusual for elven cities, there are guards walking around the place. None of them have torches. You're competent enough to know that it's probably because they are all elves, so they don't need them, but they are walking to and fro. Interestingly, from where you can stand, you can see the balcony that was Indomitus's, that's a hard word to say, room, and it is lit within. Other than that, there's other lights here and there, but they don't take you notice quite as much as that particular room.
I'm just thinking. I bet they know a lot more than we do. He points his big sword up to the balcony.
Mm.
Any of us particularly sneaky? Want to have a listen in?
I'm quite sneaky. I could try.
What do you think of Lantrix?
I think we're talking about the elves.
Yes.
I think
No, we're
He's-
talking about the weather.
likely they're likely to be able to detect almost anyone within earshot.
How do they do that?
His feathers. He's highborn. He's not.
It's raining.
He's the best of the elves, the elite.
Custom spits.
Especially under the cover of this weather, I'm pretty sure I could get within earshot of them if there's anything that you think would be useful.
I don't know. I just don't have a feel for it, because like there's like down here, and then there's up there, and to me they're the same thing. So it's very difficult for me, because in my head I'm like, I'm gonna be really honest with you. I'm thinking, well, we just set a big old fire, and then they're gonna come on out and we'll steal their things. I don't know if it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. So, or we just go north. It's fine. That's down there.
I can guarantee they won't see us. But it would cost me 25 gold pieces of diamond dust.
We got the old money bags over here.
How important do you think it is? 'Cause
I-
this feels like a fairly important spell that I can only cast once.
Yeah. I want to see that paperwork. I want to see what's in that room.
You want to? I'm pretty sure I can be sneaky enough to listen outside the room without being heard, but getting in, right? No, can't do that. Not with them in there.
Oh yeah, you can.
No. I'm good, but I'm not that good.
What kind of spell are we talking about?
I've not cast it before, but I'm fairly sure I can get you past even the greatest detection.
Are you going to summon a dragon?
No.
Okay.
Not every magic spell is a dragon.
Just most.
Do you want to do it?
I mean,
I'll
there's
do,
4 of us. It's up to all
I'll
of
do
us.
it. I'll do it. I can be sneaky by myself, so anything that you can do to help, I can.
He doesn't even know what you're going to do when he's in. Says it to me.
If you think you can hide me,
Or do you think this is the most important time to do it? Because I can do this once.
or ever,
Until I buy 25 gold pieces more of diamond dust.
what do we think? How important is this?
I'm gonna think you're gonna hear what they had for lunch earlier. And I say go for it.
I think let's do it. We didn't find out enough from those guys when we first met them. They were creepy and weird.
How likely do you think it is that we're going to need to get near the Duke undetected?
Highly likely.
Do you want to save this for him, or do you want to use it
We
now?
could do this now.
We want to pull
Stay-
our puppies in one
We
basket.
could do this now. Stay in the town for the night, and get you some more spell components in the morning.
Did she have any more diamond dust? Was I able to observe that?
Still some of these. What am
I didn't notice.
I distinctly remember the conversation.
Mm.
She offered you some.
Okay.
I saw she had a load round the back.
He didn't even get in the battery.
I can smell
You
it.
can smell it. Yeah.
Smell diamond dust a mile away.
Okay.
Smells like money.
Okay.
I love the idea that diamond dust has a dual meaning in this campaign. You got any diamond dust? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Little baby of diamond dust.
It just has a very literal meaning.
We're going to go into the most obscure nook we can cranny.
Yeah.
The most
below the balcony or whatever, is close to the.
You do a little
Wherever
shrug.
we can shrove.
We'll shrove ourselves into the shroviest shrove is shroveable.
There are a few shrove holes on the way. Get out of the shrove hole. I'm shroving in here.
Do like
Okay.
a nice shrove hole.
And she takes. I don't want to go in there with him. Okay. So she, Thyneus, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Thyneus and Elantrix are gonna just find the shadiest of shady nooks, and she's gonna take a pouch and sprinkle this dust over the head of Thyneus. I'd shut your eyes, Foshi. It just falls down upon him as she speaks a few elven words,
I feel all tingly.
raises her shield slightly, and moves her hands. And as she does so, she casts level 3 non-detection.
Ooh.
It's my second level 3 slot.
What is your safe word?
Hello.
That's
and
inconvenient.
did we go to sleep since we went to the bathhouse place?
Yeah.
We have, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
still
slept,
got.
like in a
Sleep
little
the grass.
Yeah.
crevasse.
Okay, so we've still got 2 slots left. Cool. And for the duration, it's not concentration. For the duration, you hide a target that you touch from divination magic. The target can be a willing creature or a place. Blah, 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 blah. The target can't be targeted by any divination magic or perceived through magical scrying sensors.
But can be seen under normal circumstances, or not.
It's not made invisible or anything.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
but
okay.
I'm concerned these elves might be.
Mag-
Could
using
have.
magical
If anyone's going to,
Yeah.
them or the Duke is who I'd have my money on.
Okay, so protected from magical means, I need to get up to the balcony.
Cool. You are confronted by a cobblestone courtyard that you've seen before. They're on the northern side of that. It's roughly square, but kind of different shops and inns bulk out of the way. You'll notice there's a disproportionate number of inns around the square. And one of those is on the north side. It's definitely the grandest of the lot. It almost, to conjure it up in our understanding, it's kind of how you would see almost like a great railway hotel. In that you kind of have a long balcony that also forms a kind of courtyard to the centre of this inn. The cobblestones become almost like marble flooring as it goes up to the front door. The top of that veranda is actually a balcony, and that balcony forms the balcony that you saw Indomitus on before. It obviously makes whatever the equivalent of a bridal suite or the best room in the place is almost bulkheaded by this huge veranda that can kind of come out. Almost like a sky garden type deal. All of the posts holding up are wrought iron, but they are beautifully intricate in what they are. Most of them are rose bushes or these kind of intricately wrought sculptures that hold up this veranda. Other than that, it's kind of much like the rest of the buildings. It's made of some kind of plastered white stone and has dark wood kind of banding, if you like, just holding the building together.
Okay, so looking at this veranda, it looks like it's going to be fairly easy to climb up there.
Yeah, it's pretty climbable.
Is it doable without
Music's probably
being
fading.
seen?
So there
Got
are
any ninja music?
ninja music. Of note, there are obviously guards patrolling this courtyard, this kind of central marketplace. They're not looking for vagabonds. You know, they are just walking about the place, so they're not alerted, if that makes sense.
So I can, if I can stick to the shadows enough to get up there.
Yeah.
If I'm
You're pretty sure
stealthily.
there are enough shadows to get you there. I will, however, require a stealth roll to get you there.
24.
Yeah, you don't. Nobody seems to move the way that they're walking around. There's no particular.
I can discern
Change,
the patterns
yes.
and then
Yeah, they seem to
Avoid
just be wandering from place to place. They're obviously, the routes are somewhat predetermined, but people do just walk from area to area. It's a little bit harder because they're not carrying lanterns. Normally guards carry some kind of bullseye lantern or something. They would almost light the direction they're looking in, right? Whereas that's not the case here.
not bloody Mission Impossible.
Huh? What is that not?
Have you got a cardboard box?
It's just a box.
Okay, so I'm going to attempt to climb up this up to the balcony.
Absolutely. Can you give me an acrobatics check, please? Or an athletics? You can just tank it if you so wish.
Acrobatics is 22.
22, you can make it pretty easily up there. It's this wrought iron carved pillars, if you like, which actually makes pretty easy footholds, so you can get to the top. As you do get to the top, you realise that the whole outside of this large, kind of almost 20-foot balcony that comes out is all similar in the fact there's this raw iron rose bush, if you like, that goes all around the outside. And you very easily make it to the top. As you get to the top, you realise there's marble flagstoning on the inside of this thing. There's a small water feature in one corner. There's a couple of well kind of kept bushes or shrubs on the outside. You're confronted with two glass doors. They're actually, again, like a darkish iron and a similar iron that was used on the creation of the gates and a couple of other things that make almost like a diamond pattern of these doors. The glass itself is quite thick, which actually obscures some of the light. It looks like there's wildfire on the inside because of the way the light's obscured by these individual diamonds.
If I get in close, can I see in through the door or
You're
any
going to have to
windows?
get pretty close to be able to see in. You can't hear anything at the moment. The rain's definitely dampening a lot of the sound. But you'd have to get pretty close to be able to see through it.
Okay. Can I get up to the door and have a peer through the window and see if I can see anybody about?
So you creep up closer to the door.
Sneaky.
Sneaky. You perhaps use one of these bushes to kind of just obscure yourself just a little bit more. You feel a little bit out in the open because there's this strange thing that there's the open air raining above you. You're on this veranda that's pretty... People who use this balcony like to be seen. Right, they like to be seen in the place that they're in. And
There must be a
wealth.
perimeter wall around the edge of it, so if I keep low, I'm not going to be seen from ground level.
Exactly, it's raw iron, so there's some kind of obscuring kind of up to chest height, but it feels very open, right? Which is kind of unnerving as you creep closer to this door. But a lot of that is in your own mind because you're open to the air. Yeah. But you get that a little bit closer, close enough to see in, and you start to hear snippets of conversation as you get closer and closer. As you lean in through the door, and you can just about see. It's almost like looking through a bathroom window at first because of how thick this glass is. Clearly, to keep heat in is kind of the reason it's so thick. But as you get a little bit closer, you start to discern shapes. You know that of the ones you can see within the room that's just through this door, there's kind of 3 individuals there. Now you know the party of elves you saw was more than that, so there's some missing for whatever reason. But there's 3 of them there. One of them is lying on what looks like some kind of couch or a chaise-longue with their back to you. And what immediately catches your eye and catches your attention is they have some kind of large object. You can hear string music playing, kind of plucked string music, and you immediately discern that they're playing some kind of string instrument that sounds perhaps like a harp, and they're singing a song. It's in High Elvish. You speak Elvish, I presume. So you can hear the song they're singing, and that song is, if I had the correct page open, for when the crown, stout and true, would rather burrow than grow anew, here did plant the cursed seed, and mine not on love, but law and greed. For though they prospered, they will no more, they are fewer that remember yore. As gold is pure and will not rot, yet it cannot fill the maiden's cot.
And that's not the first time we've heard that, is it?
No, it's the second time you heard that. Same elves singing it.
Somewhat prophetic, that tune. Okay, so they're in there singing, and there's no way I can get in there without being seen or heard. Is there any other access from this balcony into other rooms?
So as you look across, you realise that there's this timber frame that kind of keeps the building together. There's a small, perhaps inch or two on these timber frames that you might be able to get purchase on, but it's not going to be easy, particularly not in the rain. The rain is hitting the front of this building, so it's wet. But as you look across, you realise there are windows made out of similar glass motif. You could go and try a window, but you'd have to crawl out onto this this wooden timber frame.
I'll give it a go.
Good. Acrobatics check, please.
Oh shit. That's a natural one.
Oh! You step out on this veranda and...
Son of a bitch.
It's wet.
It's wet. So immediately as you put your foot down, it slips, right? It slips and you fall kind of 10, maybe hard to tell you're falling. Exact maths isn't on your mind right now. 10 to 15 feet where you go crashing into a bush and make an awfully loud noise. Stood perhaps a foot and a half away from you is somebody in a long grey coat and a wide-brimmed grey hat.
It's okay, they can't detect you through magical senses.
No, but landing directly at their feet is probably a bit difficult to...
So from the front of the route home, you manage to only just track the progress of Phineas as he wanders towards this very lavish... it's less of an inn and more of a hotel, really, if you understand what that word means in the common tongue, because they're not common. You see him just about make his way up and fall off this veranda. While that was happening, you notice a individual in a long grey coat and a wide-brimmed hat making his way through the rain, if you like. He's walking with purpose directly to this building. As he's walking directly to this building, he has the odd sense to look to one side of the veranda where Phineas falls from the top balcony and into a bush. Do you wish to do anything?
Laugh as loud as Castellan.
I really liked him, boy. It
was such a you're a knob. That was definitely going to happen, laugh.
I thought he was really good until he fell.
Yeah, no, not approaching.
Not approaching.
Hood up, turning away. Yeah.
I'm going to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, Felix is going to watch on.
Cool.
Hood up.
You hear a low whistle. And as that happens, all of a sudden a series of heads snap round and a group of guards start making their way from various places around the courtyard. As you look up, Phineas, you see the face of an individual you've met before, though you don't know their name. One of their eyes is slightly scarred as they look down on you. And he looks down and says, "Well now, you just gonna go and check how the other half live, is that right?"
Yeah, something like that.
Let's make this easy, shall we? How about you stand up and turn out your pockets?
How far away is from me? Is he? Standing right
It's like
over
3 or 4 feet.
Yeah,
He's very much where you landed. Yeah.
So familiar.
Quick, it's just a play.
I just feel really sorry for him, you know.
Now, son, let's not make any sudden movements.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slowly stand up, hands visible. I'm not going to chance this. I'm outnumbered and outgunned here, I think.
Guards start appearing. There's easily kind of 20, 30 guards. Well, 30 is probably a bit too many. There's probably 20 guards here around you, and they're enough to form kind of a horseshoe around where you are in 2 ranks.
Landrix, you know how magic is illegal?
Mm-hmm.
And you do magic, yes. It might be a hell of a distraction.
No.
What?
I'm going to remember that.
Is there any way you
We
can...
did everything we could to save you from being hung. Sorry, man.
At the moment, he'll be accused of burglarizing.
I know, but I love this pub. It's like we literally stood on the veranda of this pub. I love this pub, but if it were to just like explode in flame...
No, burglarizing might get him.
I've got my torch out.
Yeah.
Just looking for some tinder.
Yeah. No, but we wanted to just put it, go, whoa, no, it's real on fire.
At the moment, he's on charges of probably a few days somewhere, maybe kicked out of the city, maybe a fine. You start casting magic, and
I can't cast magic.
yes, it's a different level of charge.
Yeah, but we don't even have to breathe it.
But he magically slipped.
You're gonna let him go in prison?
You got anything sharp on your person I should be worried about?
So much.
Cue one of those comedy things where he reaches down, pulls out, unlocks the crossbow off his hip, drops it on the floor, and then what else have I got?
Goes to the boot.
Yeah. Crossbow bolts, bandolier of crossbow bolts, drops that. The whip comes off, so drops that. The sling comes off, drops that. We got anything else?
We just have to
crossbow.
walk through the gate.
No, that's about it.
Just
No.
walk north.
First thing I come here, I see you falling down. We got guests. I figured, hey, you're just trying to see how the other half lives. Carrying this much gear, are you an assassin?
No,
Am I to believe you?
I'm not an assassin.
You're carrying a crossbow up to the second floor. It just so happens you and your corral come in here same day Indomitus does. Maths doesn't quite check out in my mind.
Purely for self-defense.
Self-defense.
I am also, as you know, the guard for Elantrix. So I'd go armed.
Let's say you make your way to Ekor, all the way there. The people of the Great now. You sign up on a caravan as a guard. Gives you an awfully good reason to come into my city, doesn't it?
If I may, as this is going on, if we want to get through that north gate, we have to do it now. I can communicate with him later.
That is
I can send him a message.
That is brutal. But it is also true. I never really thought of it that it's the other way around. Let's do it.
Yeah, because as soon as he goes back to the gate, we're not getting through there.
Let's go.
Okay, so
Right.
we're going to use this as our distraction.
He was our distraction.
For some reason, you find it remarkably easy to move around. There doesn't seem to be a lot of
Wonder where all the guards went.
common soldiery about the place. You travel further north. As you do that, the quality of the inns, the shops, the various places, although they're all shut for the night, seem to deteriorate as you go kind of further north, and then suddenly increase again as you get to the extreme north. So as you get close to, you can see this huge white wall appearing kind of above the rest of the city. You could easily be lost in this place for a 10-day and still have more to see. It's big, it's sprawling, but you notice there's this market square, lots of nice places. You go further north, it decreases in quality, and then it suddenly spikes again as you get close to the northern extreme of the city. You're probably travelling for 10, maybe 15 minutes, if you know what a minute was. You probably don't. As you get further and further north, until you start to see through the buildings here and there, much like the bright gate you came through, a thicker section of the wall indicating that there's a gate. You are very welcome to approach it.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We'll make haste.
I'm a little bit. I'm concerned he's going to be.
I can message him. It's okay.
He's got a long neck.
Where did you? Okay.
An awkward 10 minutes of conversation has passed. In this awkward 10 minutes of conversation, what are you trying to convince this individual of?
I am a mercenary. I'm a soldier for hire. I was hired to guard Elantrix on her journey north. Doesn't pay particularly well. So while they were having a drink, I thought I'd come out and see if I could, earn a little bit extra on the side.
I see.
Either, yeah, all right, see what I can pick up, or maybe see if I can get some work for the elves. Whatever is available.
It'd certainly be high paying, that's for sure.
Didn't think that I'd be able to go in through the front door,
I don't think they need your protection.
Probably not, but
I think perhaps we
there
need
are
protection.
other uses.
You roll a persuasion check, please.
Please don't be another one. It's 11.
He did always 20s.
You're going to have to come with me.
Thought I might.
We're going to have a discussion about disturbing people after nightfall. And if you're lucky and you play cards right, maybe I believe you. If you're not so lucky, me and you are going to get to take a walk down Trader's Mile.
Very well.
You walked into the city, I told you, don't make trouble. Now turn around, put your hands on that wall.
Turn around, put my hands on the wall.
You get Pat down. Does he find anything that you tried to hide?
No, I haven't got any other anything else on me that is weaponish. I've got alchemist supplies, general sort of backpacky stuff.
Cool.
Some coin, but that's about it. And a pocket full of pebbles.
Cool. He seems fine with that. He pats down your backpack and shows particular attention to it, but doesn't take it off you. After that, you feel him fairly roughly, unless you're resisting, grab both of your arms and pull them behind your back, to which you hear a click, and your hands don't move apart before. You're from Equa, so you very much know this gnomish contraption, which is a mechanical device made to brace your wrists together. We would know it as a pair of handcuffs, but yeah, they're relatively ornate. You can't see them, so I'm not going to describe them for you.
I can't do it. I'm going back. You guys go ahead. He needs support.
Felix, this is bigger than this.
No, he's really big, and I'm really small. But there's no way, if he gets arrested, there's no way he can get out on his own. You two go. It's fine. I'll help.
Look, as callous as this might sound, the world's got bigger problems than one man.
But imagine if he's not really a person, but like a person playing a person, and he has to spend a whole session stuck in a fucking box. Just think about it. It'd be terrible.
How many ales did you have, Felix?
I'm really drunk.
one more than was perhaps necessary.
And the metagame Alvador starts falling through the sky.
If you're executed in this game, through hanging, do you still have to do death saving throws?
Yeah, this is very quick.
Yeah. Gurgle, dice roll, gurgle.
But seriously, we can't just leave him. Everything you're trying to do is trying to create a better world and try and save the world we've got. If we just leave our compatriot, who wants to live in this world?
Sometimes we're forced to make choices we don't like.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Fuck you! And he's gonna run. through the rain. Sword over his shoulder.
So you're retracing your steps. It took you roughly 10 minutes to get there, but you are bolting it, right? So you're really gun ho.
All the time he's like, oh, Andrew, she's not gonna forgive me.
Most people just see like a canvas blur,
yeah,
like, it's kind of streaming by. Caston and Elantrix. You left one of your 3 members of the party has deserted you. What happens next?
He's thinking about it. He's weighing up whether he can bothered could cause some chaos. He kind of wants to, but he kind of thinks he's going to die if he does. And he runs back in.
So you're closely following Felix.
Here I go!
I don't even like this guy! I just hate the elves!
Landrix is stood.
Just shakes her head.
Yeah.
She's just stood there in the rain. It's just
Pouring
pouring down.
the rain pouring down. I like that. So you're running. You're
Long
making a
distance shot
fair
of
amount
her
of
in
noise.
silhouette just going.
You're making a fair amount of noise as you do. You get to a place where you think if you start running past now, you will be heard.
Yeah.
Um,
So he'll stop.
Cool.
And he basically wants to get to a position where he can see if they're still there.
Cool. So then you'll start walking around.
Yeah.
So are you deliberately being stealthy? Or you just kind of
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Not that dice. That dice never rolls well. No, that dice doesn't roll much better. Well, I think my stuff's pretty legit. No, it's not. It was a different character. That was 7.
Cool. There's an awful lot of distraction, apparently. So you manage to get to a stage where you're just peeking into the kind of market order.
Yeah.
Caston joins you. It's probably hard to keep pace and be stealthy at the same time, hence why you didn't roll particularly well.
Felix gives you a fist bump.
Yeah.
Nice.
As you peek around this corner, you notice there's a collection of guards still there. You can't really see, with your relative heights, you can't really see past them. You make the
Who
assumption.
you calling short?
You make the assumption that Phineas is in there somewhere.
Yeah, he's
Phineas is
slightly
quite tall. Yeah, very tall, like freakishly tall, or
A little bit over 6 foot.
yeah, so he's quite tall. So you probably can see the kind of the top of Phineas's head. He's definitely the tallest in the group.
Is it still attached?
Still attached, yeah, still there as far as you know. You notice him being moved, if you like.
Yeah.
As you notice that, the door on the top of the balcony opens, and a being, you're probably relatively close actually, you're about 40 foot away at this point, because you've just peeked in. A being, you would assume one of the elves, walks out of that veranda. You're close enough to get a good eye on them. You notice that as it's raining, they're not wearing a hood, they're just wearing the white robe they've always worn. They don't look like they're getting wet at all. It's as if the rain is avoiding them. They walk out into this veranda. They don't seem to move at that point, they kind of stood there, but they're obviously, they've come out for a reason. You don't know if they're listening in or just kind of stood out in the rain. They place one hand up into the air and kind of put it up to the rain and kind of move their hand around. But other than that, they just stay pretty motionless.
Hey man, have you got a bow?
No.
You're throwing axe or anything?
I got a boomerang.
Sweet. Options. We could provoke the important guy, and then maybe that'll be a distraction. Oh, that's a dodgy one. The pub. Maybe they have some ale or something explosive, something burny. We just throw out into the
Explosive ale.
some rum or something.
Sounds like my kind of drink.
We need
Still Myers, explosive ale.
we need a distraction. We need
Sold
quick.
only in half
Well,
pints.
I got a flask of oil,
Yes, that sounds good. That sounds good.
and I've got some rag,
Yeah.
and I've got some flame.
Nice. This courtyard.
Yeah.
We had food at a place, and there was
You
like
did?
a whole bunch of places.
Yeah.
Any of those covered with like kind of what do you call them, like tents?
Yeah, like canvas tents given
Yeah.
out the front. Yeah, a lot of them. It's quite common to keep the rain off people or the sun in the golden spell.
So if a fair knight were to run really quickly with a really big sword and just cut all the ropes on a tent thing, and then a halfling would have set it on fire, that'd be quite a distraction.
Only time.
One floor is quite wet.
One. One of the,
Get out!
one of the floors. Everything else.
Everything else is just fine.
Alternatively, this whole place is made of wood.
I mean,
Pick a shop you don't like.
what shops have we got?
Yeah.
Is there like a Hager's House of Explosives?
There's no
Your
explosive
local
shop.
dynamite
Yeah,
suppliers.
there's not like Acme written in huge letters above the door. Nothing like that. Most of the places here are there's a lot of inns, there's a lot of eating locations. It's obviously meant to be a
Kaboom
market, right? So it's people that pick up ale and food as they're buying things at the market. And there are the occasional shops, so you know the old stump already. There's kind of a fair fabric shop that's kind of selling garments and kind of other flammable materials. There's pretty much anything you can find in kind of a square of a city. So there's like high-end fashion. There's elements of regalia and kind of items that you might buy to show you off some importance for some reason.
The fabric shop.
Or any old bookshops. I really hate old books with knowledge in it. That's
You'll
fucking-
notice-
that was the...
That is a really good question in that you haven't seen a bookshop since you've entered. You've seen books, but not really a single shop that only sells books. It seems to be a fairly rare thing.
Fabric it is then.
Just putting this motherfucker down.
Yeah.
So you head over to a fabric shop.
We don't head over, we run.
Okay.
Over. Yeah.
Describe it to me.
Well, Felix has got his hood up.
Yeah.
What he's going to do is he's going to get Caston to throw this burning rag. I assume you're going to wrap it around something or give it a bit of weight.
Yeah. Well, it's,
Yeah.
I'm taking the oil flask.
Yeah.
It's pretty much Molotov-y.
Yeah, you're making them prompt to Molotov. Okay. With a pound of oil. It's
Yeah.
quite a lot.
That's no worries.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And Felix has got a tinderbox and a torch, so he's gonna help out.
So it'll take you a while to light it in the rain. So it'll probably take you a solid minute, which, as our good friend Theneus is kind of being patted down and interrogated, feels like a very long time. You're also very aware that when you light this thing, you're going to be quite literally lit up.
That's fine.
Yeah. So you're quite happy with that?
How fast are you?
35 and fast.
Nice. Nice. I can be 60 if needs be. Right. Let's do this. Let's line it up.
Cool. You're there, you're lighting it.
Yeah.
Are you lighting it in front of the clothes shop?
No,
You're gonna
around
go-
the corner. We're not.
You're
we're
going to go around the corner first. You're going to light this thing up.
Oh, you're not idiots.
Eventually the tinderbox goes, and this torch, obviously, they're normally linked with fat and other things to help them burn. So it just light up in this rain and suddenly ignites. And you suddenly realise how dark it has become when you light a torch, and suddenly it is very bright.
Yeah.
You are certain that somebody has seen you.
Good.
Elantrix, by this point, is sort of watching from a distance.
Yeah. Have you moved at all? Have you kind of come back?
Yeah, she's come closer. But she doesn't want her own party to know
But
where she is.
her legs have never moved.
Yeah, she's just there, ready, should she be needed.
What gives
Frustrated.
you that idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we're gonna literally terrorise the shop. Yeah, Felix is gonna throw his torch in.
I could have taught my way out of this
Nah.
trouble.
And you're gonna petrol bomb.
Bang.
Nice.
So you literally, can you make me a attack roll against a shop if you, with a thrown weapon of your choice? I'll give you whatever bonuses you got for a thrown weapon. You've worked for the Halfling Liberation Front. You know how this goes.
He doesn't say that he's proficient in explosives and throwing them,
Yeah.
but,
Jamie
Making
would,
this
be,
as
but
an
he
assumption.
definitely is.
Jamie would be so proud.
Gosh, doesn't even roll. What is the plus? Just a plus.
Whatever you normally get for a thrown weapon, I'll give you. So
Okay,
you've got like
So
a
she
So
you
12.
12. Cool. It's a big old shop, so you're pretty happy you're going to be able to hit it. which is good. It goes careening through a window. So what's Felix doing as he walks by? You cutting things? You causing a ruckus?
No, he's going to lob his torch in at the same
Are you
time.
lobbing your torch at the
Says,
same time?
yeah,
Can you
help.
make me an attack roll as well,
Yeah.
please?
Take this shop. 18 plus Dex 21.
21. Cool.
Yeah. He's aiming for like the piles of clothes. Or
Piles of clothes. That's how high-end fashion works. I can see you've shopped here before. Welcome to Piles and Things. Just roll on in through the
Oh, you want
clothes.
some clothes? Stick your hand in.
Pick the one off the top. It's always good. So this torch goes careening through the window, knocks over a mannequin. As it's going in,
The mannequin is made of explosives.
Yeah.
And
you don't know what it hits, but
Yeah.
you do see flames starting to billow out.
it's beautiful.
In comparison, this oil makeshift Molotov, if you like, I don't know what the Elvish is for Molotov. I assume it's a Russian word, I don't know. Comes careening through the window, hits the back wall of the shop. There's a pound of oil in there, which means that actually all of the front windows blow out. So you get this huge kind of blowback as the front of the shop kind of explodes. You feel a ringing in your ears kind of as this happens, and you have to kind of stutter slightly. You weren't kind of expecting this thing to go up, and huge flames start licking the front of this building. This comes as a bit of a surprise to you, Thaneas, as you hear this, what can only be described as an explosion. Various things start being... you hear shouts from various different places. Most of them fairly close to you, being that there's 20-odd guards around you. They shout many things, fire being one of them, Liberation Front being another, and lots of people start pointing and jeering.
And you know what we were shouting.
Yeah. To which the guards start dispersing around you. Interestingly, the individual in the grey wide-brimmed cap glances over his shoulder, kind of sees what's going on, and pushes you very hard against the wall unless you resist it, which you can do.
Do I resist? I'm not going to resist.
Cool. He pushes you very hard against the wall, and you hear him whisper in your ear, "Don't you move now." And you hear another click. And after that, can you roll me a perception check?
Perception. Perception.
Who thought there'd be a vodka and textiles shop?
That's 20, not natural.
20 not natural.
Now I roll another fucking high dice.
You glance over your shoulder and you see he noticeably slips away. So he slips into kind of a shaded area. But you can track his distance fairly well. He's obviously doing a wide arc. A lot of his guards, if you like, are travelling straight towards the shop that's just caught fire. Interestingly, he darts off to one direction and tries to stay pretty low, but you can probably track him from where you are. If you try to move, you'll notice that you can't. You seem to be bolted to this wall in some way from your wrists, and you can't really see what's going on. Is Elantrix doing anything? You've just seen an explosion. Lots of guards have started running around.
Is this a magical restraint on me?
That is a very good question. Technically, no.
Have I been charmed?
No.
No, right, okay.
Don't you move. Right then.
All right, don't you move now. You stay right there. Andric's going to do nothing. Are you just stood there? Are you going to...
She's very ready to cast a spell if she needs to. I wouldn't technically ready it, but
Okay.
she's somewhat ready.
A huge explosion's just happened. Your ears are ringing slightly. You're pretty sure it's had the desired effect, though you've only had roughly 6 seconds to figure this thing out. What are you currently doing?
Running.
You're running.
Escaping.
In which direction?
All of them.
Not towards the guards, but what I would like to think about a little bit in terms of the layout of the city that he knows. Is there a way to circumvent the courtyard? So if he ran down the street, could he get back in from the other side?
So could you go away from where you are now, round and back towards where Phineas is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So it's a city and there's this courtyard. There's a row of buildings that make it outside. But it's not like a city that's had any significant town planning. It's kind of been brought up in various locations. So other than there's an outer perimeter that is pretty indomitable, there's easily duties, things are ways around kind of avenues.
So we're tearing through the alleys, knocking down shop carts that have been packed up, and cats are going
Piles of cardboard boxes and jumping over.
Yeah, and he's like going down. He's like going down on all fours over things, and he's pegging it.
You're being pursued.
Sweet.
Can you make me either an athletics or acrobatics check as you're being pursued?
While all this is going on, can I try and get out of my bonds? Any way that I can try and force my way out of my...
They're starting to hurt your wrists an awful lot, whatever this thing is on you. You're used to manacles and things, but this doesn't feel like that. It feels tight, like something's restricting your wrists. As you try and pull them against the wall, there's no give at all. It's not like they're on a chain or anything. It feels like you are almost bolted to the wall, and it feels strong. You can try and pull yourself free, unless you can think of any other way to free yourself, which you are welcome to try.
I've got no magic that will do anything.
While are you thinking about that?
A little degloving.
18.
Yeah, a little bit of degloving. An 18.
Voluntary declubbing.
Voluntary degloving. That'll do it.
Yeah.
It will have...
You might need a con save.
Yeah, it will have some negative effects, should we say, and probably take you some time. But if you want to, 128 days your way out of here, you can probably...
Weirdly, with one long rest, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Yeah. So we had an 18. What about yourself?
18 as well.
18. And did you do athletics or acrobatics?
I did. Well, they're both the same. What would you recommend?
It's up to you. It's all good,
It's
sir.
flavour.
It's all good.
Acrobatics.
Athletics. So Felix, you're absolutely bombing it. You could do this all day.
Diving up and around carts.
Yeah. Equally, with an acrobatics check, you're swinging on signs. You've been able to go underneath things.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
What's somewhat frightening, you think they're gaining on you. Yeah, so you think they're gaining on you. You can't tell. You start looking back to begin with and you think, we got this, everything's fine. When you look behind you, there are, hard to tell, some over 10 guards chasing you down. They're shouting, they're jumping over things, they're jumping over carts and things that you're pushing in the way. You think they're gaining on you as this thing happens. Elantrix, what you see is your compatriots, shaded in the distance, explode a shot, run down an alleyway, and they're pursued by a group of guards.
How many are in the group?
The group of guards?
Yeah.
Roughly 20.
Okay.
You're counting pretty quickly.
How many feet away from me are they?
Probably about 40 feet, so not hugely far.
Okay.
They're very distracted, it helps. They probably haven't noticed you there.
I have no regrets.
Okay. Does she can have a cursory look around her, make sure she thinks... Is anyone looking directly at her?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Except me.
Yeah. Well, you're probably a little bit... I imagine you're tucked away, so
Okay.
anyone else might not be able to see.
She's as surreptitiously as possible. If she's got a direct line to them and they're 40 feet away, she is going to cast Calm Emotions. She... for everyone, I don't know if you want to do this as a group or individually,
Yeah, it's a group.
they need to make a charisma save.
We can do it in sections, is probably the best way to do it.
We got this.
Easy peasy.
Halfling Liberation Front.
If this doesn't work, we'll be looking for any stacks of barrels, or if there's any nets with cargo stuff on the side of shops that we can cut on our way and.
Or like a stuffed animal shop.
What's the save?
13.
13.
What you want to do is find a taxidermist. Standing at the window, taxidermist.
Interestingly, a huge group of people, roughly 15 individuals, suddenly stop running.
Milling about.
And that is exactly right. They start generally milling about the place. Yeah, so they're kind of just stood there, they're looking at each other, and they kind of just vaguely disperse and start like looking around and almost going back to. Some of them look back at Thanaeus and they're not particularly bothered. I'm going to ask you specifically. You're making them indifferent about creatures, I presume. Which creatures have you chosen for this? Just in case you decide differently to what I'm thinking.
Cats.
Creatures, plural of your choice. It doesn't limit it, so the whole party.
Cool. So all of the player party.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. So in which case, they don't even come back towards you, Thanaeus. They kind of just mill about and generally start dispersing in different directions. That being said, you are being gained on by a group of people who fanatically have decided that they want to chase you down. Good lord. A couple of things happen in rapid succession. One, Thanaeus, you're trying to break out. How are you going to try and do that?
Well, the first thing I'd probably do is brace myself. I'm guessing I've got my hands behind my back and I'm up against the wall.
Exactly right.
So the first thing I'm going to try and do is put my feet up against the wall, brace against the wall as hard as I can, and try and push free. That's the first thing.
You can make an athletics check and break out.
That's what you meant, like the soles of your feet on the wall.
I
so
like
you're
that.
just like
Kind
stood on the wall.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I'm bracing myself, shoulders against the wall, feet. Push,
Face your fears
push.
if you make it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, if my hands suddenly come through, I'm going to come off that wall like a grasshopper horizontally. Athletics.
Yes.
Natural 20!
Yeah.
For a total of 25.
Well done.
Just
It comes free, and not only does it come free, you catch your step immediately.
Twang!
So you know that's going to happen. And you know what? Because it's a 20, I'll give it you. As you're pulling yourself free,
I land in hero pose.
you land in hero pose.
Oh.
Not only that,
Nice.
you pull yourself free from the wall, and you try and break your fall with your hands as you go forwards, and you hear a snap. And as you hear a snap, you notice that your hands are free as well.
Definitely going to land in hero pose.
And you land in a hero pose, yeah. Yeah. Which means you're not going to spend the next couple of hours with your hands bound behind your back.
That's good.
It's not-
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Is my gear within sight?
It's nobody picks it up, so it's in
Right.
front of you.
So I'm going to grab my stuff and strap it all on as quick as I can, because it's all on one sort of bandolier, which isn't difficult. And
There's a load of guards milling about. You saw some friends explode a shop and then run down an alleyway pretty quickly.
so okay. So let me orientate things here.
Cool.
The behatted Justicree.
Yeah, he snuck off straight directly. If you're looking down
If I'm looking
bright-
at the explosion.
Okay, you're looking at the explosion. If you look straight in front of you, you'd see the bright gate at the kind of the far end of this kind of square that you're in. To your right, a shop's just exploded, and your friends have gone up an alleyway to the right. Your Justicree went straight down to your right-hand side. That's as far as you know.
So he's gonna, if I don't do anything, he's gonna encounter them, isn't he? Because they went behind and he's gone the same direction. Roughly, he's gone for an intercept. Quick. I'm going to go the same direction he went.
Cool. So you're going to head off to the right.
Yeah.
As that happens, Elantrix,
I'm stealthing it.
You'll be on the right-hand side of this hotel. You'll see Thanaeus suddenly dart in front of you. Unless you choose to stop him or make any kind of noise, he will just pass right in front of you.
How close are these two?
They've gone down an alleyway, so you're not even sure at this
I can't
point.
see
They've
them.
kind of gone up to the right hand side.
We're home free. Don't worry about it.
And do they look like they're going the same way roughly as he's heading, or the opposite way?
They both went off to your right hand side as you're looking straight down. So if you imagine yourself, the same description I've just given Phineas, but further off to the right. So you're almost looking through the corner of the market square. If you really craned your neck, you'd be able to see the bright gate at the very end. You've seen a shop explode from one side. You've seen people dart down an alleyway. You've just cast this spell on a load of people on that right hand side. Everyone seems to be heading over to the right.
Is there anyone else heading that way that I can see?
Not that you can see.
No. Oh. Okay, she's going to... get out of here. Head north.
Okay.
Are you saying that to me in a messenger?
Yes, message, cantrip.
Good. No worries.
And she's going to keep distant. She just wants to, as best as she can, keep everyone within eye, like she did before, keep everyone within her vision, but not be seen herself. Just keep to the edges.
We gone.
Can you roll me a stealth check, please?
8.
Cool.
She's not the stealthiest.
Over to the runners. Athletics and / or acrobatics check as you careen through. You're running down this alleyway. You're pretty sure you've got to make a right-hand turn, which would take you onto a street at this point, and you're bombing it down there.
Is there anything we can smash down to try and slow these guys down?
It would cost you speed,
Yeah.
but you could do that, yeah.
Because if it was Assassin's Creed, you could.
Yeah. There just so happens to be a set of wooden stairs that go up there, very precariously balanced.
Every time.
It's almost like a building regulator has recently said, "Oh, that probably needs a little bit more support."
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. It just so happens they've collected their latrine in various barrels on the top, which you
Them two boys are at it again.
Big pile of hay at the bottom.
That's it. Which you're pretty sure you could chop down, but they're gaining on you. So
I think we're screwed if we don't do something. Yeah, Felix is gonna, as he's running along with the sword, he's gonna do a big old jump and try and chop this down as he goes.
You made an attack roll, please.
Oh, come on! I don't even know where the dice went. 15 plus 7. 22.
Nice. That'll do it.
Yeah.
You obviously do enough damage. It's very spindly.
He goes, "Great sword!"
Yeah. It starts snapping and breaking away
There's a guy up there
as it
painting
falls.
in the rain.
While that's happening,
What's going on?
Caston, are you continuing to run, or are you matching pace with your friend?
I'm probably continuing to run here.
Keep going.
Can you make me an athletics or an acrobatics check?
$18. 21 on a
Nice.
acrobatics.
Following that, can you both make me a group perception check, please? As you're making that, this spindly wooden structure collapses, and as it does, a latrine, various bric-a-brac, some barrels all collapse.
No cocktail.
These guys, they're gaining on you, but they're giving everything over to sprinting.
Yeah.
Right? Perhaps they don't do a lot of alleyway chases, you're not sure, but they're giving everything into the sprint. They can't pivot fast enough, and this thing just collapses right on top of them. Knocks them off their feet. You don't look back for too long. What was your group perception check?
18.
6.
Nice. Felix, you're barreling along. You're looking behind you. You're having a great time. What you've done is incredible. Caston, you notice as you're going forwards, you're just about to enter kind of the mouth of another street, if that makes sense. Just as the wind blows in the rain, you catch the sight of a corner of a grey cloak on the right-hand side as you come through.
You're ahead of me, though.
That's right.
Nice. That's how we want it.
But you're still running, you're barreling towards this thing, you're going to hit it in seconds. So you've got to make a choice as to how you deal
Jesus.
with somebody hidden on this right-hand side.
So I'm coming up to it.
Yeah,
His little mouth there.
that's right.
I am going to keep. How far away from me would they be?
You're running pretty quick, so if it's a matter of seconds, it's going to be 20 odd feet because it'll be something you can close in a single run, if that makes sense.
And when I get to like running past, they'd be. It's always saying 20 feet.
Yeah.
I'll just keep running, but I'm going to have my great axe as like a shield to deflect anything
Yeah.
coming at me.
Nice.
Is the plan.
Can you make me a dexterity saving throw? You have danger sense. You
Yeah.
can do it with advantage.
It is 20, non-natural.
Well done. As you careen around this corner, you stick your great axe up to defend it. You feel a sudden impact on this great axe as you go by. Felix, from your vantage point, you haven't seen anybody, right? You're looking over your shoulder. You think it's a great time. You see Caston go around this corner. As he's running around this corner, a sudden jade object appears from out the corner like a spike, and hits into this great axe. It seems to materialise and hit into this great axe. If Caston wasn't aware, you're pretty sure it would have speared him straight through the head. With that, can you roll initiative, please?
Jeepers. That's not what I wanted.
And me?
Yes, if you could roll initiative and a land tricks as well, if you wouldn't mind.
13.
Ooh, that one's in my little box.
This wasn't my plan, Jack.
11.
Wasn't the plan. I need to find all the necessary tokens.
We
All
were
this
meant
one's
to find.
labelled Felix.
We were going to find out details beyond the steady trickle of details. We were going to get ahead of things, Jack.
Jack, if only you hadn't convinced Phineas to go under that magic spell and spy on the guards.
I know.
You were so insistent.
Real douche.
And then so insistent you came back to save him.
Right. What are your initiatives, everybody?
13.
11.
21.
3.
Woo! That's a good one. I like that.
She's smoking a cigarette.
Smoking a cigarette, chilling out. And he rolled. What is his modifier, please? Gonna have to be that one. Go. We have, up in the batting order, Caston, a currently unnamed Justicary, Felix,
I didn't have this music ready, I apologise.
Phineas, and then over to our good friend Alantrix, right at the back of the packing order. And with that, to give us time to choose the music, should we have a short break? It's a good break time, do you think? Roll some adverts,
Strategize.
have a think about what's happening. It's probably going to be fine.
Have a think about that instant death.
It's likely going to be fine.
Of course it's going to be fine. What else? What could go wrong?
See you in about 6 to It's all going to go absolutely fine. First up in the pecking order, we have our good friend Caston. You felt the impact on this axe as some kind of sharp object hits it at relative speed. What do you want to do?
Laugh. We keep running. And then he's going to cast Implode Skull.
Ah! It's like the scene from the first Indiana Jones film. I currently forget the name of it.
Raiders.
Raiders: The Lost Ark.
Did you say neighbours?
That's
Neighbours
when
of the Lost
neighbours. You know, when Harrison Ford hung out with the little Australians for a prolonged period of time. Marvellous. So you're going to keep running.
Is there... So I was heading kind of past this dude, if that's cool.
Yeah, it's very close to you. Which means that if you're going to run by it, it's probably going to get a swipe at you.
Maybe I won't do that then. Is
Has
there anything
already
I can?
had that.
Is there anything I can climb up here?
That being said, if you climb, you're still moving away from him. That being said, to get metagamey, you could disengage as your action,
Yep.
which would allow you to run your full movement away from him, and he wouldn't be able to hit you.
Okay.
If that's what you're aiming to do. If you're trying to give him the slip.
I'm trying to give him the slip, but get into a higher ground if possible.
Yeah, so this is a slightly more offbeat version of the kind of internal marketplace you've had. So there's still cafes and inns here. They're just a little bit lower market than what you've seen previously, really. In any big city, you've got a big market. You get the next street along, you can get the more affordable places. That's kind of where you are now. So yeah, there's the odd veranda. There's kind of these wood-fronted houses are still here. Most of it would be scaling. There's no like steps or anything like that.
Alright, then I will disengage and kind of come round him.
Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, get myself in a position of where I can kind of see and try and look for somewhere to get a higher ground.
Cool. So you're running further to the north. That's right. So you kind of doing your full movement, running down this street. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
You'll notice roughly 40 feet ahead of you, there's almost like a Y junction, if you will. It kind of goes off to the left, off to the right. You know if you take the path on your right-hand side, it's going to bring you back to almost where you were before, on the corner of the market. And it's kind of 40 feet ahead of you now.
Yeah.
So you move 20 feet ahead, so you're roughly 20 feet away from this mountain. 20 feet away from this place. I don't know why I said mountain. It's strange. Abscess of the brain there, don't worry about that. I'll probably manifest as a mental illness later in life. But as you get there, if you just quickly roll a perception check for me.
6.
6. You don't notice anything in particular.
Not that there was anything to notice.
There's anything to notice, but it all seems normal. Wonderful. You are careening around the corner, Felix. We haven't made it around the corner yet, have you? No, so you're still very much... You have seen Caston dodge round something and move by. This individual... you notice them look at you, Caston. They're obviously kind of irked that you saw him coming. That trick normally works, as far as you can tell. He grimaces slightly. He hasn't taken his hat off yet, and he touches his chest. And he does so. You see a vague jade light glow in between of his fingers. And as that happens, jade kind of glinting appears all over his exposed areas of skin. So you can see his face, his hands glow ever so slightly. It lights up and then fades. You can see just briefly, it seems like he's carved out of jade. As that happens, he then makes a beeline straight towards you. So he just kind of runs up on you, if you will. He's able to close the distance, and that's all he's going to do.
Are they in close?
Yes, he's in close with Caston, so we followed up Caston. Felix, you're up.
We've run an alleyway that scouts this open area, this courtyard.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the building to my right or to my left goes straight over to this courtyard?
Yeah. So it's about 2 buildings deep,
Okay.
and there's not a distance between them. It's not like there's a jitty that divides them. They seem almost like they're built back to back.
This might be an odd question. How tall are they?
How tall is a building? Roughly 25 foot tall, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So Felix is going to climb.
Sure.
He has a climbing speed of 20 foot.
Nice.
Using his canine agility.
Yeah.
So he's going to see that happen in front of him, and he's going to be like, I'm out of here. And he's just going to literally, go for it. Jump in sort of between different bits of wood and
The
balconies.
timber
and bits and
frames.
pieces.
They've
Yeah.
got this, we've mentioned before, this couple of inches of
Yeah.
timber frame that you could easily jump between. Also need an acrobatics check to make sure you don't slip.
Do I when I'm climbing?
Do you just have a natural climbing speed?
20 foot? Yeah.
Cool. I don't know why you got that. That sounds awesome.
Because
Yeah.
it's part
Part
of the
dog,
class.
part ferret.
Oh, nice. Oh, in which case, yeah, you can absolutely climb 20 feet.
It's
Sorry.
under
That's fine.
canine agility.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Lovely.
You can do that.
Yeah, so he climbs on up. Does 20 foot get him to the top, or do I need to go further?
You can push it, which I would need an acrobatics check for, or an athletics check, and I'll give you the whole 25 feet.
Oh, gambling.
That's right, I make the rules.
Basically running up and then make the final leap for the edge of the rooftop.
Athletics
A
check.
dino, I think. is the name of
Athletics
the
check.
trade. Yeah,
Athletics.
athletics.
11.
Oh gosh! You jump up and
Yeah.
you just feel one
Scrabble,
paw
scrabble,
hit
scrabble,
the,
scrabble.
Claws.
the claws, end of the claw hit the tile.
Sweet.
One hand just makes it and then slips off, but as you do, you notice that the sword carried across your back just pinches into the timber. And you hang there for a second as you just scrabble against the wall, and then you grab your other hand on and you make it up
Nice.
onto the roof.
And then he's going to use his dash,
Yeah.
because he's still got action,
Yeah.
to run along the roof.
It's wet and it's tiled.
Yeah.
It's at an angle.
I'm happy to half my speed.
You can
That's
half the
fine.
speed. Cool, that's fine. You can full bore it,
Yeah.
but the chance of slipping up here is high.
Maybe he'll use his dash to climb up to the sort of ridge of the roof.
The
then.
apex.
Yeah. So he's well up high.
Yeah. You notice this is a very fine city. There's lots of money spent here.
Yeah.
People don't look after the roofs so much, is what you've realised. But yeah, the centre ridge is capped, so there is a ridge running straight down the centre. It's almost dual ridge, if that makes sense. It's almost as if one shop's made its roof up to its ridge.
Yeah.
Almost like a McDonald's M kind of shape.
Yeah.
But you're up on the left most of the two.
He's thinking that's incredibly inconvenient for drainage purposes. but,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of inefficiencies that you're noticing.
But he's
you probably get a
well,
lot of damp.
well up and away from that combat.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
And that's everything, right?
Can I see these guys at all out there?
Not from where you are.
On the
'cause you,
rain.
you can see this like snaking line of the roof.
Yeah.
You can probably just about make out Caston and this other character that's
Yeah.
kind of glowing slightly as you see him down
I'm
there.
not doing all of that.
And can you roll a perception check if you've really craned it?
Ooh. Wasn't expecting anything. 16 plus 3, 19.
You can see Elantrix squatted in the far distance.
Yeah.
Just as you kind of crane your neck over, you can see Elantrix crouched down. She's obviously hiding, but you can see her from your vantage point.
She was never very stealthy. Sweet.
That is Phineas. You're up. You're hearing some commotion. There's a lot of commotion happening tonight. You're just going around an alleyway to your left-hand side, and all you can see is an alleyway. There's a street that you can see going around to your left-hand side. That's about as much as you can see for now. It'll probably only take you 5 foot to see around the corner, but that's kind of all you can see up until now.
Okay, I'll have a look round the corner. While I'm doing
A
so,
little peep.
I'm just going to... I'm going to have a look round the corner.
You'll have a little peep. You can see a halfling. The back is to you. because right next to them there is a grey cloak with some kind of green glowing entity within it.
Okay. I will point.
It's full of blood.
I will point at said grey cloak
Mm-hmm.
individual. So,
Zap.
and shout,
Ooh.
"Oi!"
Nice.
Is
Is that all that I like? I think you should just end at that.
that's pretty much all I can do, really? Isn't it?
Cool. You'll notice as you point your finger forwards that there's a brass contraption attached to your wrist.
Mhm.
It's kind of thick. It almost looks like a brass ignot when you're kind of looking at it at this angle. Still attached to one wrist. It's quite heavy.
Might be worth a bobble too.
Hmm.
Never mind. Anyway,
And you're going to leave it there? You've still got movement. You've still got an action.
have I still got that? Oh, okay. You're not going to count that as an action.
No, I wouldn't
How
count
far
shouting
away is?
as an action.
How far away is?
They're about 25 foot.
25 foot. Okay. I'm going to throw.
You hear some kind of vague scrabbling up a wall
Mhm.
as this happens.
I'm going to. I'm going to throw a stone at him. So I'm going to pull out a pebble out of my pocket, and I'm going to fling it at
Nice.
him.
Well, unless something bad's about to happen, we'll then attack roll. I assume you're doing another thing.
That's 1d100. So it could do very little, but it could also do.
Just out of interest, I can touch up to 3 pebbles
Sorry?
and imbue them
Okay.
with magic. Could I throw more than one at a time?
What's the spell called?
Well, it's
Help me out.
Throw pebble.
it's a transmutation cantrip, so I can imbue up to 3 pebbles with magic.
What's it called?
Transmutation. Oh, sorry, magic stone.
Magic stone. I think you can throw all 3, but I'll just have a quick look. If I remember, magic stone. Have you checked your rule book lately? You do. Use something else to make a range attack with 1 of the pebbles by throwing it and hurling it with a
Right,
stone.
so 1 of them.
So you can only do it with 1. And a friend can do it as well.
Mhm.
Cool.
Okay, so I will, having pointed and shouted, I'm going to throw one of these pebbles as hard as I can. He's only about 30 foot away, so I've got a
60 foot.
60 foot range,
Nice.
So- I can throw it quite accurately, and I will do so.
Go ahead.
That is 16 to hit, so that's 18, but I've got advantage on this attack roll from my true strike, which was the point and oi.
Ah,
Oh, fair enough. Was that a cast spell? Because if that might have been your action, if it was a, or is it a bonus action? Unless it's a bonus action. True strike.
It's a cantrip.
Probably an action.
Probably an
Just
oh yes, it
take a
is.
quick
Sorry,
look.
yeah, that is
so
an
that'd be an
action.
action.
So
So
that
I'll give you
would-
one
that
or
would have-
t'other.
That would have been my action. Then would be the oi and the
Cool.
point.
So you can do true strike.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry about that, mate. I didn't
No, it's
realise you were
okay.
casting true strike. Otherwise, I'll give you that. Ace. So that is.
In that case,
Ooh.
I'm going to, having shouted oi and that,
Yeah.
have I got movement?
You got loads of movement. Yeah,
I'm going
bangs
to run
and
the other
stuff.
way.
You're going to run around the corner.
I'm going to, oi!
Yeah.
And hopefully he looks at me, and then I'm going to run t'other way.
Nice.
And
Cool.
while running, pulls.
Running north.
Yep,
Cool.
running
Yeah,
towards the exit.
Alantrix, you're up.
She's going to ready her action to sprint as needed. Away.
Sensible.
Dash.
Yeah. Dash. Yeah.
Dash north.
Yes.
Caston, you're up. This creature, as it comes up on you, you realise that it almost looks like it's been carved out of jade. A very lifelike jade statue running up on you. They're within base contact with you again. So again, you could disengage, move away, or do whatever it is you see fit. But if you try to just dash, for example, you will get an attack of opportunity as you try to run away, but it will make you faster.
Okie dokie. Well, I'm going to go into a rage as a bonus action, for starters.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he's going to disengage and run.
Awkwardly, I think if you don't make an attack action, your rage will end in.
Okay, then I won't do that. I take that back.
So you won't do the rage.
Started feeling a bit. Oh no.
Just like,
Actually,
no.
of course, you
When Bruce Banner just turns green.
Yeah, just his eyes.
You
Yeah.
sidestep, run away.
Struggle with self-doubt.
I'm going to make the assumption: is anybody willing to engage this individual?
No.
No.
Only
Cool.
from a distance.
In which case, can you make either a group acrobatics or athletics check to try and run away from him, and he'll see if he can corner you as you try and escape.
Athletics is another natural 20.
So
25.
you're doing acrobatics.
That's athletics, 25.
12. Although Felix is very
19.
far away.
19. What is that? Athletics or acrobatics?
I'd look athletics. Yeah.
Are these checks?
Yeah.
5.
A 5. Sorry, was that athletics or acrobatics?
It was acrobatics.
12 athletics.
12 athletics. So you are. Let's do it in turn order then. I'll save my guy. Felix. You're on top of this roof.
He's running along the rooftops. He knows where the north gate is, so that's where he's going to be.
You're sprinting down this thing. You're making really, really good distance. You're pretty sure you're going to be able to clear it. Nobody really knows you're up here, as far as you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's slippy, but because you've gone up to the apex, you can pretty much dart down the centre of this thing. It's very much like a black and white Japanese film as you're running down the centre of this.
Ever see Samurai
You
Jack?
reach the end.
Yeah.
How are you going to deal with that? 25 feet off the ground.
Ever see Samurai Jack?
Um,
As you fly through the
how
air,
wide
body
is
doesn't
the
move.
alley or street that is?
It goes straight into a street. This is almost
Yeah.
at the butt end of a street, if you like. And then there's kind of a sheer drop,
Yeah.
and you're on almost like the market square on your right hand side, the streets on the left hand side. You're looking forward north towards the north gates. The street. If you jumped
There-
down, it would take you up north.
There has to be canopies out in front of these shops.
That is true. There probably are a couple because they're all cafes.
Aim for a canopy. Go on. Boing.
Straight
Ta-doom.
through.
Ta-da! Only if you roll a natural one.
Let's do a canopy.
I'll give you two options. You can just plummet down into one and hope to God you don't hit the floor.
Yeah.
Or you can try an acrobatics it to make sure that this goes better. One's safer, the other one will give you some more distance.
Yeah. Inversely, he's going to climb down.
Okay.
He's got a fast climbing speed, but he's going to climb down with the sword.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. So you're going to go 25 feet straight down because
Yeah.
you're climbing. So that would be a dash action if you like, because
Cool.
you can run along 25 feet,
Yeah.
absolutely fine. 25 feet straight down. Yeah, you hit the ground somewhat unceremoniously, but you skate all the way down.
It slows down like an
As
elephant.
he lands and drops, pulls the sword out, and starts to run off. As he runs off, behind him, the building splits in two,
Splits it. Nice.
leaving an elf sitting in front of the fire, going,
On the toilet.
Yeah, I like that.
Jurassic Park it.
"Yeah,
Horrendous damage.
Phineas, how are you escaping? You rolled a natural 20, right? As acrobatics, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
so 25 in total."
So you can get away pretty well. So you are heading north, presumably?
Yeah.
Cool. It's not a scatter moment, that's good. But you're heading north, you're jumping between tables, kind of over things, and you're pretty
I'm
sure
good at this sort of thing.
you're going to be able to clear this thing you're getting the hell out of dodge.
Yep.
So you're absolutely fine. Elantrix.
Well, she's just legging it north
Yeah, absolutely
until she gets close to the north gate.
Cool. And you are making headway. I can't remember your roll.
At the moment, you're only guilty by association.
19.
19? Yeah, you're absolutely fine.
Yeah.
The fact that you're heading north. You're not even entirely sure if this individual's aware of you at this point, but you're heading north, absolutely legging it. That's fine. Caston, what was your roll?
5.
Powerful 5.
It was a 5, yeah.
It's not quite high enough, is what I'm going to give you. You turn around to run, and as that happens, you suddenly feel a very sharp imprint behind you.
Nuts. We're going to have to do this all over again, aren't we?
You feel a very sharp
My
imprint
brain.
come up behind you. As I find the correct dice, don't worry about this clunking noise, that's probably fine. As you feel one very sharp feeling, and then another one, and then another one. 3 kind of sharp, sudden feelings. And as you look down, you just see the glinting jade pinprick point of 3 individual sharp objects that come through your chest as you're running away, and you take 15 force damage.
I think we can say 50 then. Just a little bit of acupuncture.
Yeah. You probably got a billion health as a barbarian, so that's probably barely took the top off.
Why don't you can slow him down?
He's alright. For a bit.
Marvellous. As that happens, as you're all actively disengaging, you're all running north, I will give you the opportunity to end combat here.
Thank you.
Caston turns around with his axe.
Unless.
Are we being pursued by
A bear?
individual?
You can rightly believe that that is true.
Mm.
But you're heading north,
An
you're heading
individual.
very, very quickly. Despite all your rolls, despite the go, you pretty much form up as a pack and you're heading north. You're heading pretty quickly, you lose sight of this individual behind you. You notice as they kind of become jade, they're a little bit clankier in their movements, right? They're a little bit heavier of foot, they're perhaps not as quick. They're obviously very obvious because they're glowing, and that glow fades as you get further and further and further away. So you're running full pelt. Very quickly you're making it past kind of dodgier, stranger looking shops. All of a sudden these shops get much finer again as you get to the extreme north. You're heading towards a gate. What's your next?
Do we converge like? with
You
everyone
converge
else?
together as a group. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for coming back for me. I don't think we're ever going to be able to come back here again.
Once we get the hell out of here, we need to have a little talk about leaving people behind.
Yeah.
As that happens, you start to hear a bell pealing.
Okay.
Oh, is that one of yours?
It's quieter. As that happens, another bell starts pealing, and before you know, a lot of bells start going.
We need to go.
Call line up and through the gate. Lantrix first.
Yeah, we're legging it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're legging it. You're heading towards the gate.
Legging it.
As you get closer,
Legging it
you
like
realise it's one of these wooden gates, and this big kind of
we're not going to
um,
get through there.
Yes, we will.
iron-bound braces, if you like, in this gate. There's a small grill that you're welcome to head up to.
We can't fight our way through that. I hope you've got a plan.
As soon as she's within 30 feet,
Yeah.
she'll do a thing.
Oh, she's doing a
Go ahead,
thing,
do a
everybody!
thing.
Yeah!
She's going to cast suggestion on whoever the first guard is that she comes at that's monitoring the door. She's using a lot of magic.
That's probably fine.
Yeah, that's probably
It's not going to
fine.
have far-reaching repercussions of any.
Wisdom save. 13.
Yeah, you're going to be absolutely fine. You go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody just did a very
Can I
low
help
dice
you?
roll.
A voice comes through the gate.
So I'm allowed a sentence or two to magically influence the creature.
Yeah.
Man in jade armour, imposter, let us through.
You bet. The gate starts opening. You hear a clinking as this gate opens. And that's all that happens.
Mm-hmm.
The gate opens. I imagine you're about to go through this gate relatively quickly.
Go through a brisk walk.
A brisk walk.
Yeah.
Nonchalant.
Nonchalant.
Oh, it's real wet out there.
And so this gate is open to the air. And so you'll notice, much to your surprise and joy, you enter another atrium like you did when you first entered the city. And there is a guard who's just quite happily pulled open the gate. He's done so with a, I don't know, you call this thing a winch? What do you call the capstone? Whatever you use. A large mechanical device that he's pulled round to open the gate, which means he can do it on his own. This atrium isn't loaded with 40 guards, so you are very welcome to see that. There is one other guard at the far end of the room. For whatever reason, this atrium has been emptied of guards. Who would know why that is? And he kind of stands there looking a little bewildered and kind of looking off in the distance. Imposter, you say? Somebody should really get on that. You guys come on in.
Don't let him through. And we'll just continue to walk briskly.
You'll slam the door shut. As you're getting closer and closer, there's another guard on the far extreme of this door. He's kind of giving you all a bit of an eye over there. Can I help y'all? What's the deal here?
Get us through.
Can you make an attack?
It's an intimidation to start.
Oh, it's an intimidation. Cool.
Yeah.
Are you trying to just get him to run away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. You go ahead.
I don't think his job's worth this coming
He
out.
didn't think he was just going to open the door for us. We were already in there.
It is a non-natural 20.
I think that is going to do it, but just on the off chance. He immediately cowers in fear. There's a barrel close by. He goes headlong into the barrel.
Just his feet sticking out.
Just his feet sticking out the other side. There's another one of these. Please correct me in the chat for whatever the name is. I'm thinking like a wooden thing with handles on it that has a chain attached to it that you turn, and it makes the opening a heavy wooden object easier through a pulley system. Whatever that's called. There's one of those to the right hand side, a shrove, if you will.
So just a winch.
Is it a winch? I think it's a winch, right? You're the engineer. You should tell me these things. Am I anymore? What am I?
Who am I?
You're pretty sure that's the mechanism for opening this door.
Somebody's coming, don't let him through.
You're saying that to the legs?
Yeah.
Please leave me alone! Don't kill me!
Everything's fine, just don't let him through.
Please don't kill me!
It's not us you've got to worry about.
His bells
They'll
tolling as you're going through.
Keep walking.
Who's operating this winch?
I'll do it. I'll grab the winch. Yeah.
Cool. You go in. The gate is quite heavy. Even with this pulley system, it's quite heavy to move this thing. The gate actually opens outwards and it's slowly inching outwards. You suddenly realise why they only open these things by a small amount. Because it is a lot of work to open this thing. As that happens, you hear an argument happening at the other gate. You're not sure what's happening, but there's some kind of argument. It's heated, and there's a lot of southern drawl and some not very nice elvish words being thrown about. But this gate opens up. It's still hammering it down with rain, and you're opening up the air, if you like, and you're all pretty sodden at this point. Apart from you, who are wearing a lovely canvas coat. Everyone else wished they had better attire.
I'm going pre-prepared.
Yeah, it's already waxed. It's like the rain is running off this thing. This gate opens up. You suddenly get a brief scent on the air of kind of foliage and grass that you haven't smelt since you entered the city. This gate opens up. It's roughly kind of 2 foot open at this point.
Crawl under it.
Sorry, it's opening. It's weird. It's opening out at an angle, so it's kind of away from it.
Crawl under it.
We're going to try and crawl under it.
Crawl under it. Yeah. Climb over it.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can break this mechanism from the inside?
Well, I mean, I've got a big axe.
Yeah, but that's not gonna.
We have to do dexterity to get through No,
I've got to get
because it
through
doesn't
the door.
auto close.
It won't
does
auto close, no.
No, auto close. Oh, thank you.
Oh, hello.
Night owl.
Nerds.
Nerds.
Hey!
Yeah, it's
Who rightly chose winch.
fine. Oh, congratulations.
correct.
Thank you very much, Night Owl Nerds.
Thank you for that. I needed
That's so
some.
nerdy.
Yeah.
I did need winch.
Welcome to
As
the
I'm,
stream.
as I'm turning this thing, as
Yeah.
I'm turning this winch, do I get the impression that if I let go of it, the door will automatically swing shut?
You're asking all the right questions.
I can test that as I'm doing it.
Might.
Yeah.
As you're kind of doing it, there's resistance on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know what's pulling, what's causing it, but as you kind of let your hand off it, it is trying to jar back.
Right.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hold it open. You guys get through.
We need to snap the chain.
You can never break the chain. Fleetwood Mac moment.
Yep. Okay.
Anthony stinks for a while.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
still this
So
argument going on the side.
I'm holding this.
As you
We
kind
could put
of,
that. We could put that scaredy cat's arm in there, and it will
That is
eventually
li-
break.
That's literally what they said on the chat. Use the cowering guard's legs to stop the winch.
Oh, I love that. As you're having this thought moment,
As I'm having this thought,
As you have
I'm
your thought
rummaging in my pocket while
Yeah.
I'm holding the thing open. Okay.
a jade object comes through the other gate. A sharp object just appears and splinters through that gate. Play continue.
Right. While I'm holding this with one hand, I'm pulling out from my pocket, my back pocket,
Nature's pocket.
a little piece of wood
Yeah.
with a bit of string wrapped around it, and I'm going to drop it on the floor next to me. I'm casting Unseen Servant.
Ooh.
The Unseen Servant will get hold of the winch while I bolt for it.
Absolutely.
Magic's illegal.
So
I'm
you,
following
you
these
pass-
guys out the door.
Yeah, you pass through the gate, and the unseen servant will quite happily.
Now, as soon as I get through the gate, the Unseen Servant will close the gate and hold it closed.
Yeah.
Ooh, unseen.
I'm happy with that.
Now he will continue that until I am 60 feet away.
For 1 hour. Yeah. Happy with
That is
that.
awesome.
if I command the servant to perform a task that would move it more than 60, move it more than 60 feet away from me, the spell ends. So
60-foot radius, if you like. So
But-
you can move 60 foot away from it, or it can move 60
oh,
foot away from
but
it.
it will stay. Will that mean it will dissipate if I move away? Because I'm not.
Unless you move it with you.
Yeah,
If
no.
you're 60 foot away
You're
from
gonna
it.
have to stay
it's-
behind
Yeah.
and keep
It
it.
gains us a bit of time though, and
No,
we
60 foot is fine.
gonna run.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we looking at?
It's a very good question.
So
It's getting.
as we get through, he's gonna let it roll through, and then he's gonna hold the winch shut.
I love that. Well done. The gate creaks and then slams to a shut. All right, because somebody's actively shutting it. So actually, with that extra force, if you like, this thing slams shut. As that happens, you're suddenly confronted with a scent, and that scent is foliage, it's grass, it's new grown things, almost like a garden scent kind of comes across as you kind of walk out. It's dark, it's raining. Why don't you throw up a hand if you've got night vision?
I've got no vision.
1 night vision, 2 night vision, 3 night vision. Sorry, Caston. Those of you with night vision can see dimly lit up to 60 feet, I want to say. So you can see up to 60 feet around you. You lose the colour, it's kind of all grey. You see 60 foot around you. What you can see is well-kept trees, well-kept foliage. You're in some kind of expansive garden. 60 foot around you in all directions, you can see that. All around you. To your right hand side, there's some kind of stone building. which you're not sure what that is, but it looks almost like a cottage. There's kind of glass windows in it. It's quite ornate, it's quite nice, but kind of there. And other than that, you just have this garden that's kind of expansive in front of you. It's as far as you can see.
Matrix.
Oh, I'm still running.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to run into
Yeah.
this garden, right?
Yeah.
It's not that thick.
Garden or
No, it's
Cottage.
it's a kept garden, if that makes sense. It's not
so
wild.
it's not undergrowth that we can go and hide ourselves in.
Yeah, it's like an estate garden, but it's huge.
So it's
Like
huge.
it's,
We can hide in that.
Was there a great big manor house quite near us?
You can only see about 60 foot. There's the rain. It's dark.
Also, I
and
think it's
getting late.
ages up the hill, right? I think it is a huge estate.
When you were stood looking over the city, the large building, kind of manor house / castle, whatever you kind of describe it as, was almost as far as your eye could see on top of a hill. So you know that it's out there. You know that it's north. It just could be a hell of a distance through whatever this thing is.
Let's just keep on going. Keep on going. I assume that's the mist house next to us. We ain't going to see that. That is not going to
I mean, it's a fairly obvious place to check.
It's going to end up being a siege, which we don't want.
We just keep running until he runs out of jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Well, it ends here.
I've watched enough episodes of Dukes of Hazzard to know that sooner or later he's going to have to turn around and go back.
Because it crosses county lines.
Yep,
That's exactly how
with an accent like he's got, I'm hoping for it.
Nah, he's all the way down in Kentucky. No, we ain't got jurisdiction there. I watched a lot of Justified. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to run.
Yeah.
We've got to run.
Yeah, north. You're running. Nobody's going to stop you at this point.
Damn straight.
Damn straight. As you're running north, Caston, you can't see, mate.
But I'm an excellent tracker, as we all know, and I can hear the footprints, and it's like I can see, basically.
Cool. So you're trying to
like a bat.
follow the footprints of the guys ahead of you. Cool. Can you make me a survival check?
Probably
I mean,
with
it's,
disadvantage.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sculptured garden. It's not like he's going
I'll
to have
take
to watch out for
disadvantage.
roots and
Try
random
disadvantage.
outcrops of things, is it? You know, he's
8.
Hey.
He's fine. He's fine.
It's actually not bad. You trip and you fall often. You occasionally run into a tree. So
But if I did that, I'd get impaled with the
So while
spikes that stick
we're
out.
running,
you are still, they'll come through your back though, so you're okay.
and while we're running, all we can hear behind us is
Thwack. The three of you now have a choice. You can choose to run as fast as you can. If you do so, you will be leaving Caston behind. Or you can choose to match his speed, which will make you slower.
Yeah. No man behind. We
Yeah.
got in this predicament because it's sort of.
So you can,
Ironically, had we left him behind?
Can I use the all of the shiny gold and the moonlight to kind of
The
light
mirror.
my way?
like a golden mirror tray. In fact, the gold probably isn't helping at this point. You're kind of jangling about with this big bag of gold on your back. Occasionally, you feel the hands of your friends kind of pulling you along, and people giving you a sharp push when you need to go a little bit faster.
Sometimes they knock you over.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't help. Sometimes- but you definitely know that everybody's around you at least, and you're making your distance north. You probably do this for a fair amount of time. Kind of 10 minutes passes, you're still running. You're getting tired at this point. You've been up all night. You're running. You start to hear less and less sound coming behind you. You don't really know what happened with the gate and kind of whether somebody's opened it or not. It's kind of impossible to tell at this point. But you're running and running and running. Kind of 10 minutes passes, 15 minutes passes. That's a long time to be running in all the gear that you've got on you. You've got backpacks, you've got weapons. It's getting tiring at this point.
Or less oil.
You got a whole lot less oil than you go. Half an hour passes, you're still running north. This garden just keeps going and going and going. At that point, can you all make me a Constitution saving throw?
I rolled my wrong dice. That's
17.
13.
Oh my god. Natural 20.
Hey!
Again, that's 3 in a row.
Same.
Feels so healthy.
Natural 20.
Oh my god,
Hey!
so
2
healthy.
natural 20s in one roll.
Build 28.
So mine is
Well
24.
You're feeling great. You've never felt this young in your life. You feel electrified.
I've taken over them. I've overtaken them.
In the dark. You just keep
Little
running.
legs going
Run,
19
run.
to the dozen.
What were the other two rolls? 17?
13.
And 13. You're pretty good. You're all still running. You're running pretty well. You're running through the night. You're making a hell of a lot of distance.
Do we know where we're going?
North.
Okay.
King of the North.
King of the North. So you keep running. You're doing very well. You keep running. Even Castan's keeping a huge amount of distance.
Even
now.
cast.
Even Castan. You can't see
Yeah,
at this
even
point.
Captain.
You can't even see at this point, and you're running further and further.
I think Castan hears this narrator.
Yeah.
So every now and again you just, even fucking Castan?
Who's this guy? But yeah, you manage to keep running further and further and further. This garden changes. There's occasional stone structure that is like a water feature or a statue or something you were supposed to focus on, but that's gone. You haven't got time.
Sorry, is that part of your character? You hear the narrator?
He's like dead. You can see him between the panels.
But he does hear things.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
maybe he is hearing Ollie.
That'd be
Yeah.
so annoying if you're like
Breaking
running
the-
along, just
breaking the fourth
describing
wall.
everything to
You're
you.
running further, but do
But
you not have that?
But he only picks up on it when you're you say something slightly
Specific.
derogative.
Mentions
about
your
Castan.
name specifically.
Um,
I'll give you.
So you keep
Running
running, you
away.
keep running, and you've done pretty well. At that point, you're pretty sure you've safely run a distance that whoever it is following you is going to take a hell of a lot of running to catch up with you. They haven't caught you yet. You've no idea what's going on. You have a choice. You can keep running north. You're getting pretty knackered out at this point. Or you can do something else. It's up to you.
I'm ready to sleep in a bush.
Are we going to? We're going to try and hide out for the night. Do you think he's going to pursue us?
What important information did you garner from the elves?
They like singing that damn song. That was it.
No. So that was your first thought among numerous thoughts.
No, I couldn't get anything else from him, could I? While I was looking in through the window.
You know that he plays a string instrument.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Slippery verandas.
I think that was the name of the song he was playing.
As you're chatting amongst yourselves and having thought about what to do next, there is a sudden bolt of lightning.
Of course.
It's far off to the north, which would be completely fine. It's a stormy night, there's a lot of rain. The rain seems to be heavy and it's not letting up. If this bolt of lightning wasn't green, as this green bolt of lightning falls from the sky, it persists longer than you expect a bolt of lightning to persist for, and it silhouettes a large structure. That structure looks almost like a manor house, but it has parapets. All of the windows seem to be very apparent in this light. You couldn't see it before. It's still a long distance away. It's kind of like you really are looking at it. But this long arcing piece of green light sort of emanates for longer than a standard bolt of lightning. It seems to hit the structure in some way and latch onto it, and it dissipates. And you're kind of dazzled by the light for a very brief period of time.
That doesn't look at all ominous, does it?
An entirely reasonable thing to witness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
At least we know we're going in the right direction.
Do you remember the jumping at the bastion
The jumping?
of the Justicrees?
The jumping of the Justicrees.
They did those jumps.
This music is really... I'm really feeling quite heightened. They did those jumps.
Yeah, they sort of they kind of teleported from.
Oh yeah. I remember now.
Does it look like that? Can we do
Contrix-
insight or something?
Contrix, see that. Yeah, do an insight roll. Yeah, she did.
Yeah,
say
she was there. Yeah,
That's it.
Felix and Lantrix.
Felix
Yeah.
and Lantrix
Were there.
If you do an insight roll or a
Yeah.
what's it called in 5th edition? Knowledge Arcana.
No, insight's good.
Insight's
yeah,
the one.
Knowledge Arcana's the old one.
Yeah.
16.
16.
14.
14. You're pretty confident that's not it. You know that Just Degrees have weird powers based on these amulets they wear, based on some of the training they have. It's very secretive, so you're not sure exactly what it is, but you know they have some powers that they very happily don't call magical, but would very much seem like magic to the beholder. You don't really think this is it. It's bigger, it's more raw. It's probably the best way to describe it. Natural's definitely not it, but it's some kind of uncut natural force.
The question is, and it's a big one, do we stay here and do we rest and we go in daylight? Or do we go there while the lightning is literally striking and witness whatever the hell this is? And then we might find out more now. But I'll be honest, I don't want to do either.
Might be easier to get in the place if it's under cover of darkness.
You know when we were in the Bastion and I almost died finding these Just Degrees? This is all looking a little bit Just Decree-y. I don't want to.
I'm pretty sure that guy back there was a Just Decree.
He didn't have the robo armor, but it was a lot of the same stuff.
You've met the Just Degrees before?
Not met.
Just Decrees.
Not met, but I know of them from the city.
We met them.
You did?
It's a pretty.
You lived to tell the tale.
We fought them.
Really? And you lived to tell the tale?
Most of them exploded.
That is quite impressive. They can be beaten then.
With
That's news to me.
with ample black powder, anything could be beaten.
We got lots of black powder, have we?
No,
we haven't.
We don't.
I wonder if that castle's full of black powder.
I think he's right.
Well, that changes things if they can be beaten. If he's just one of them, then
We've worked hard to make ground. I think we press on.
you don't want to go to the castle.
Yes.
You do
That's what I
want to.
mean.
Ah,
Yes.
right, okay.
It's literally a massive beacon. How you feeling, Castian?
Pretty good.
You went toe to toe with that dickhead.
I'm feeling fine. He was a dickhead.
Good.
I'm ready to
Yes.
smash some dickheads.
I noticed for the first time he's got 3 pieces of Just Decree sticking out the back.
3 pieces of chain sticking out the back of him. Looks kind of like a quill bore at this point.
Does that not hurt?
He would never admit that.
You notice as you're all kind of looking at them that they do dissipate, and as they dissipate, it's almost like a jade steam comes off them, and they slowly.
Felix is like ice bullets.
Okay.
We're going north.
You head north.
Heading for the house.
You head north. It's going to take you some time. It's probably night time is the best way to describe it. You don't know
Lord of the
how
Rings-esque
long.
montage of traversing the
yeah,
land.
be that kind of thing. I'll let you travel pretty quickly. You're going through this estate. There's gardens. How are you running? Are you trying to? You kind
I
of
think we can ease back on the running.
Yeah.
can't we?
We're still going.
traveling at
There's a
pace.
decent, a brisk walk.
Yeah.
Traveling at pace.
We're not. We're doing the middle one of what it says on that screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the middle one of those.
Yeah.
We're not running.
Slightly at pace.
And we're not
Alright.
creeping.
Travel pace normal.
Normal.
Yeah.
Normal travel pace.
Yeah.
Distance minutes 300 feet a minute.
But
Which
you-
basically means
you
we're
can
not
see-
paying attention, but we're going quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But we're
it.
not running.
We need 24 miles in a day. I'm really glad I can read that.
Yeah. What else can you read? Okie dokie. Let's.
I can read that the name of this place is Don't Go Near the
Yeah, that's
Castle.
the one. As you're travelling through in the dark, you can cut us back to some more tranquil music if you would
Oh, I
like.
will, absolutely.
Walking in the
Can
garden.
I interest you in
music.
Halfling Lodge?
Oh, that sounds good.
Less like that. More like.
More like Mansion Night, which I've
That's
pre-prepared.
perfect. Yeah. How did you know that was going to happen?
No, I don't know. It's not my first time.
As you travel north
Ain't
of
my
this
first
garden,
rodeo.
Can we
What a
get some
garden.
perception checks rolling, please?
Perception check.
If you've got any other high skill that's vaguely investigatory or perhaps a little nature, if you're into that kind of thing, give me a roll and tell me what you're rolling. The information. You
Survival.
do that if you want.
I'm 19.
Animal handling. No,
If you want. You can roll an animal.
yeah, let's do an animal handling.
We'll go in order. And I'll ask
16 animal handling.
16 animal handling. You will notice with an animal handling roll of 16,
Yeah.
this garden is devoid of
Badgers.
specific badgers, and
badger,
devoid
badger.
of any kind of critter. This is unusual because gardens like this that are very well tended for. You've been in Equa, you've seen the gardens of various rich folk as you've been paraded around as a gladiator. Normally have
Spiders
small
webs.
birds, spiders' webs, something of interest. There is nothing.
That is weird.
It's a little bit weird.
There is absolutely nothing here.
Yeah.
8.
8
Survival.
survival. You're pretty sure the things around you. This isn't a natural occurring garden, but other than that, not a huge amount grabs your attention. Elantris.
19 perception.
19 perception. As you're walking through this garden, it's getting later and later. You don't suffer the effects of ill sleep being an elf, so you're pretty aware of your surroundings. The odd tree seems to move ever so slightly.
Good.
Yeah, not in a openly aggressive way, but in a tree moving sort of way that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Like someone just taking one side step while they think you're not looking.
Yeah.
And she's going to nudge whoever she stood nearest to.
Yeah.
We'll say Phineas and see if he sees the same thing.
And I will look. I will look around
Stick with Thinny.
at the trees and things around me, and with my powerful natural one,
Yeah.
not notice a damn thing.
Everything seems very normal. Yeah. In fact, you're not really sure why everybody's stopping the good moving that you've been doing.
What? What's up?
Just me.
You travel further and further north, and I'm not going to labour over this point. As you travel further and further north, what's
that
that?
noise?
Oh goodness, we've been sent some bits!
Wow! Blitz and
We've
chips!
never been sent some bits before.
What does this even
I
mean?
don't even know.
A purple thing appeared on the screen. What?
Thank you very much for our bits.
Thank you very much for the bits.
Yeah.
Is that a
I
roll
really
initiative?
Yeah. You might be able to use an emoji now. There are some emojis on the channel,
Can we spend that on like
designed
Haribo?
by Caston.
Big
I've
Papa
seen
G says, I don't know either.
Great.
It's Kakoni's here!
Hey!
Hey, long time no see.
Good to see you. Thank you. Was it Kakoni who sent the bits?
I don't know, I think it was Big Papa G.
Oh, thank you, Big Papa G, for the
Yeah.
bits.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's very kind.
Ominous
Big fan.
G.
Yeah.
Ominous
I'm
G.
excited to learn what bits are after
That
this.
is an investment.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
An investment.
You're investing for the future
Yeah.
of entertainment.
Can we trade them for Haribo?
Can we trade them for Haribo?
In my experience,
Yeah.
you can trade just about anything for Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
That's true.
Continue.
Good thought. You try-
Just about anything.
Oh.
Anything.
I mean,
Anything.
like I'm wearing nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
not below the waist.
You travel further and further north. Apart from the odd tree moving and things moving around you, there being no discernible critters or creatures as far as the eye can see,
I hadn't noticed that.
you come across a very large, very stone building. It is almost, as I've said before, a mixture of an opulent manor house and a fortified castle. It's hard to see where one starts and the other one begins. It's made out of a dark stone kind of foundation and structure. That's kind of unusual for elven architecture. You're kind of used to very graceful white stone, and this is rough hewn. and strong-looking, I suppose, is the best way of saying it. It has a kind of set of stone steps that go up kind of to the front door of what looks like a front door, kind of this large oak door. But as you look upon it, it has kind of windows at odd heights that don't really seem to match. You're not really sure if it's different floors or perhaps stairs, but they seem to be interspersed, and it's the same heavy glass that you've seen in the city, in that it's kind of divided up in diamond shapes and very thick, which makes the light coming from within it a weird shade that kind of flickers in and out. Up to the left-hand side, there's a large structure that juts straight up and ends in kind of a parapet that goes right up as far as kind of you can see upwards, easily kind of 200 feet up into the sky.
Big spire.
Big spire, yeah, that goes up into one side.
Does that seem to be where the lightning's coming down onto?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
It's always a bit spiry.
Yeah.
There is no sound of laughter from the top of it.
It's alive!
Faint cackling and somebody shouting things about things being alive at the top.
The right-hand side of the structure goes into a kind of a long shape.
It's dead!
It's dead! A long shape that goes further out, and there's kind of a smaller spire/parapet that comes up one side. So it's definitely almost lopsided to the left that goes straight up. But there is a set of stairs leading straight up. There is a big wooden door that's set with very large, dark, wrought iron rings. The wood almost looks reddish in this light, but it's hard to tell. Lack thereof light. There's no torches lit or anything. You can just see odd reflections of light from within the windows. A couple of things become very apparent as you're thinking about this place. One, elves don't sleep. So it's unlikely the occupants are asleep, presuming they're elves. Therefore, the light makes a lot of sense. That's about as much as you know.
Looking at the architecture of the building, you say it's not the sort of usual elven style.
That's right.
Is it then identifiable as non-elvish in origin? Would I, looking at it, would I be able to think that's a bit weird? It's like they built an elven castle on top of an old something else.
You can make me a history check. If you're thinking this thunk out loud, somebody could help you with a history check.
I'm quite good at that.
Well, I got a 17.
Better than me.
So, as the current historian of the group,
Yeah.
Dennis,
Even with my +9 history.
nerd.
How do you not know this? Just look at the place.
I don't know.
You've been around elven
It's been a
architecture.
busy
a long
day.
time. You grew up in Aqua, you know the city very well. This is not elven. It's not modern elven architecture. The kind of white structure that you've seen around the wall of the previous city is, as far as you know, elven architecture. It's very kind of well carved. It's very well put together. It's very much elven stonework, elven craftsmanship. A lot of Aqua looks very similar. That is old. You know, that could be thousands and thousands of years old. You're pretty sure the structure is older. Which the reason the windows are at odd heights, the reason why it seems odd, is because it almost seems like people have put windows in places where they could. It seems almost lopsided in the way that somebody's refactored this building for their own purposes, and it probably existed before then. But you're not sure. It's really hard to place.
I will sort of
who
discuss this sort of feeling with Elandrix, and it seems odd, doesn't it?
Yes, I knew that.
And it's probably worth noting as well, knowledge of architecture, knowledge of the history of architecture is incredibly rare in Aqua. There aren't people who go around looking at buildings saying, oh, this is this area of architecture. That whole kind of thing is shunned. Nobody really talks about it.
So they do it at night under dark cloaks. That's cool.
Gangs talking about
That's
it.
really cool. Yeah.
Surreptitious architecture lovers.
Yeah.
People in the
The whole
corner
club
streets,
just over there.
Oh, me, I'm just selling drugs.
Yeah.
I'm just selling drugs.
I'm not.
Just narcotics.
I'm not discussing Doric columns at all.
A map?
No.
Me with a map?
Map?
No! Wouldn't see me with a map.
Yeah. I'm drawing lewd pictures. Lewd
Yeah.
pictures. Nothing like a
No,
map.
no, I'm not doing anything like that.
But
Right,
it is a
okay.
very good way to arouse suspicion in your character if you are into history or into cartography. or
Very
anything.
suspicious. Okay, so I'm going to go up to the front door
Mm.
and have a listen.
A little listen.
Here's the door.
I'm
Ma- Maybe maybe there's a cat flap or a letterbox. You know,
Dog
something.
No letters, as
No.
far as you know.
No
Just a
letterbox.
big, kind of reddish
Big,
wood
big
door. You stick your ear to it. What can you hear? That
What
is a
can I hear?
very-
I'd like to know if I can hear bustling or if it sounds like the place is not well lived. Not a lot of people in there.
You hear
You can-
Basil Fawlty.
Yeah.
You can hear a great deal of nothing, which is unusual in a way. If you really restrain your hearing, you can give me an investigation check.
I'm sure I'm not the proper.
You're not the proper dog to do this.
It's only an 8.
An 8, you can still hear nothing.
Nothing.
An absence of thing.
Lots of it.
That's probably because your other ear is probably filling up with rainwater. The rain is getting torrential at this point. Even those of you with fabulous canvas cloaks are probably starting to feel the,
And long waterproof ears.
probably starting to feel the rainy effects.
Listen, these places usually have like service.
There's got to be a back door somewhere.
Yeah, you're not going to go in the big one. Why'd you go in your?
It's not built into the side of a mountain or anything like that, is it? So
No,
we could circumnavigate it.
yeah, it's very much out in the open. It's built up on a hill, so it's definitely got higher ground in the fact that it can be defensible. But there's no perimeter wall or motte and bailey.
Are there any guards? Like, is there anyone about?
You don't seem to see anybody interested.
That group of
Suppose I-
historians over there.
Surreptitious historians.
Seen by the spanner.
Suppose it would rain.
Surreptitious historians is the name of my band.
I like the idea that they commit other crimes to cover the fact that they're
Oh, yeah.
historians.
Want to buy a watch?
Yeah.
Buy a watch? What? No history going on over here. Want to buy a watch?
This watch? No, it's not very old at all.
No, brand new. Look at that.
200 years old.
Next
Oh
time
my
you
God.
correctly identify some architecture, you're getting the biggest wedgie.
Over the head. Over the head.
Turbo wedgie.
Yeah, we're going to scout it
Yeah.
and see if we can find another way.
Cool. You got left, which will bring you underneath the shadow of this gigantic tower-like structure. You can go right, which will bring this elongated structure going down kind of one side.
Left seems like the most metal thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides, if we go right, that's kind of heading back towards the way we come, isn't it? And definitely don't want to be doing that. So
You head left. As you head left,
it's got to be a back door.
there's probably a bit of a lurching in the pit of your stomach when you realise that the underneath of this tower seems to cut away. And actually what you're looking at is an incredibly large stone structure that is connected to the major building but doesn't seem to have any structural support in any way. It just moves up into the sky and doesn't seem to have any building below it other than a small corridor attaching it to the rest of the building. It kind of defies what you would seem as logically possible. There's a
But
huge
only-
amount of stone weight.
Only an architectural historian would find that unusual.
Very true. Perhaps to you this is just what you know. Yeah.
Hanging in the sky the way that most buildings don't.
It's an awful lot of mass to be hanging in what seems like a corridor. But yeah.
Strike you as weird. Get off the back of my trousers, you.
I think that's a very expensive corridor. Yeah, for that to work. And you gotta hope it's not breezy.
And you can literally, you could walk underneath it.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not going to walk underneath that. I'm not going to.
But there is one thing I would like to point out is that we have all seen a 1,000-foot bell, so it's not
True.
Yeah,
That's true.
A 1,000-foot what?
Bell.
That's true. I remember it.
This isn't as tall as that, so.
It's 1,000 miles,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
What
I'm remembering.
Was it that big?
Yeah.
I think it was a translation error. It was a 1,000-foot bell. I still don't believe.
So this is not even the tallest thing you've seen in Matrix.
It's not even at all.
Relatively
But-
small.
The bell had a lot more structural support, from what you can imagine,
Yeah.
so it's on a par.
It might have been foot. Can't
Listen.
remember.
I'm pretty sure it's 1,000 miles. So yeah, is this,
Anyway, it's dark. We can't see the top of it. It might go on for miles.
yeah.
1,000 miles.
Yeah, 1,000 miles up.
There's an eerie rumbling night.
That's just my tummy. I'm so sorry. It's so
Um,
long.
And there is almost a green flash in the sky above you. But no lightning as far as you can tell. But as that draws your eyes up, just as you see this rumbling of greenish haze in the clouds above you, you realise a lot of the clouds and almost rain in the area seems to be gathered around this building.
To the service entrance.
Yeah, that's fine. That's being outside of this probably scarier than being on the inside. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be fine.
Mr. Ray.
You head round to the left, and again you're hit by the fact that these windows seem to be in odd locations. For those of you that like order and structure, I don't know which one of those are. Probably not Caston. That is something you hear in your head.
You're damn right.
Yeah, for those of you that like order and structure, it's a little bit jarring and a bit weird to look at. They seem to be placed in odd locations. The windows are obviously, now that you look at it, are relatively modern and a different architecture to the rest of the building. It's not kind of rough hewn.
Are these windows? They're all glazed, aren't they? They're not just open hatch. Like we couldn't just climb in. We're looking for a back door. We can't just.
They are, so they're made out of a similar material you see in the city. They're kind of diamond shaped and have this thick glass that almost makes the light a weird refraction, if you like. So it's hard to see through them until you get really close. Whether they open or not, you want to give one a crack.
Let's see if we can find a door first.
Before we go cracking windows.
You continue around to the left, and if you really skate the outside of the building, it will bring you underneath this tower that will kind of arc above you, which will get you out of the rain, but you would have to pass underneath it.
Is there just like a tiny hole at the bottom of the tower that we could
See all the way
we
up?
could climb up into?
Little eyepiece. This lets you.
Giant telescope.
So assuming you are going to do that,
Yes.
you pass underneath this gigantic structure. It's probably 50 foot across, and you're almost hit by the fact that there's this large stone flat metal structure above you with seemingly only a very small corridor supporting its weight.
At least it's not raining under here.
Yeah, and you're completely obscured from the rain. It's kind of this dirt and grass below you, kind of a relatively unkept area. But you scout around the perimeter of the building. There's no door as far as you can see.
Well, this grass should be dead. It's in a shadow.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest thing here.
I wouldn't know. I grew up in the city.
Yeah.
Not a lot of grass.
Yeah, well, I grew up in the city, but you know,
Give
you
me a
got to
wedgie.
have somewhere to poop.
Okay, so there's no sign of a back door.
Not yet. But it's a very big building, so you may find something eventually, but you haven't found it yet.
Let's keep going.
So you continue. I'll speed this along. You're going to snake the perimeter until you find something of interest.
Yeah, we're either going to find a back door or we're going to end up back round the front
Back to
again.
the front again, right? So you travel roughly this 50 foot underneath this huge stone tower above you. You come out the other side. There's no door. The rain starts again. You kind of just get over the monotony of the fact that the rain's been hammering on you, and it all kinds of comes back until you reach a very small, similar red wood door on the far side of the back of the tower. It's quite thin and quite small from where you are. It's probably only about 4 foot tall and probably about 2 foot wide, but there is a door kind of set in the wall just there.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody good at picking locks? Is there a lock?
Yeah, there seems to be a lock and an iron ring.
Yes, great axe out.
Before
I was thinking the same thing.
before we try like
Key to the city.
axing it or swording it to pieces or spending hours trying to pick the lock. Going to try the handle.
Yeah, I'm going to try the handle first.
I've seen this before.
Try both push and pull.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is going to try the door?
I will try the door.
One moment, please.
Have you got resistance to lava?
I hope so.
Resistance
They said
large
Large amounts of
Someday.
what? What?
Large amounts of love.
I quite like that.
Okay.
I'm a door and I love you.
Wow. The door opens.
You what?
It opens. It creaks a fair amount. It feels like it hasn't been opened in a long time.
Inwards, outwards.
It opens outwards into the rain.
Okay.
And
I'm trying to pull it really slowly so that
Yeah.
it doesn't creak, and just in case anything inside is going to go twang, I'm standing to the side.
yeah.
That's not my first rodeo when it comes to breaking and entering.
There seems to be no lock, no tripwire, no trap, no anything that you can.
I'm looking really carefully.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything. You roll a perception check. If
Roll a
you
perception
like.
check if you like.
It's
It's only a 6.
nothing that's particularly
I've spent years
so
sneaking
many
into
years.
houses and things in the city. This is hardly out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, all of this.
Nice.
Creaky.
Welcome.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing seems to happen. Can everyone roll me a?
Death saving throw.
I'm going to do a check based on intellect because I'll tell you what it is. You'll give the game away.
Okay. So saving throw.
So is that intelligence?
Yeah, give me your intelligence modifier on a check.
Check, not save.
A check, yeah.
16.
Character sheets to have.
So is that on investigation?
Just base
No, it's
intelligence.
just base intelligence.
Base intelligence.
And Alantrix, can you pass me your character sheet? 'Cause
Yeah.
if anyone's going to have it, it'll be you. Give me your flat roll, Alantrix. Everyone else, give me your intelligence modifier.
9 with no modifier.
9 with no modifier.
Mine is 5 plus 1 on a modifier, so 6.
17 minus 1, 16.
16. Nice.
7.
Nice. So 16. Briefly, both Felix and Alantrix, just the briefest second, on the outside of the door, you think you see a spectral, almost invisible bell. You see it out of the corner of your eye, and as you go to look at it, it almost disappears, but it's not ringing. You're almost immediately sure that whatever you've done and however you've done it, you've not caused anything to happen. But something should have happened, and you've managed to get through it undetected.
We share a look.
We believe we got through undetected. Okay.
Other than that, this door swings open. You're confronted with kind of rough-hewn stone flagstones that stretch out into a wider room. You can see kind of 60 foot in, kind of a 60-foot wide room that's all just flagstones. You'll remember that you're at one side of this big tower, but it opens up to this very large room. That's all you can see from where you are.
You good for time, Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah, what time do you need to head on? It's kind of going to roll us up very shortly.
I mean, home by 11 is always good.
In the morning.
Party time.
But I'm in a car, so yeah. I don't have to.
Okay, you're not on bus.
No worries.
No, no.
You're good.
You're in a room.
I'm in a car right now.
What?
Catherine's just going to say, no.
So,
These stone flagstones kind of stretch out.
so the tower would have been off to our right.
That's right.
Looking in that direction, is there any indication of because the corridor that was leading to the tower would have been at fairly much at ground level?
Yeah, so it kind of jutted out like a 45-degree angle
Right.
straight.
So there should be, theoretically, the entrance or an entrance to the tower.
But before you go forward, just FYI, that door had some kind of magical trap or signal on it.
Really?
Yeah, so this whole place is probably rigged, not to explode, but it's probably rigged with traps,
Okay.
or at least messages and all that fiddle faddle. So it's probably best this one goes first.
Catherine thinks you're pointing at him.
No, but not him.
Elantrix?
It's best that Elantrix goes first.
Okay.
You're going to be most perceptive of these things.
Cool. You step through the doorway. There's rough flagstone steps that seem to stretch out into this very large room. You're kind of thinking about kind of a 60-foot vague square shape. On your immediately to your right, there's a set of stone steps that go up. Other than that, it jars you ever so slightly in the fact that you've seen the outside of this building and the inside of this room looks to be a different shape.
It's
Other
the
than
TARDIS.
Other than the fact the stone steps are in roughly the location you expected, this room seems larger.
Go on, say it.
Seems larger than the inside.
Other sci-fi
Bigger on the
series are
inside.
available.
Elantrix is headed in.
Oh yeah, Felix will follow it.
Cool, Felix is in. Who's next? Nothing horrible will happen. I'm almost sure of it.
I'll go in next.
Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Castaneda's afraid. It's just a silly house.
As you all step in, there's a creaking sound. Wait for it. Wait for it. No expense spared. As the door swings shut behind you.
Of course it does.
Cool.
And with that, we have been die rolling, everybody!
Gosh. There's something
Thank you
down
very
there.
much for stopping to join us. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. It's been exactly what I needed on Thursday.
How about
Yeah,
Thursday? Or Tuesday? Feels like Thursday,
Now I'm
doesn't
We're in a car.
it? Feels like Thursday. It's the other one beginning with a T. It's only Tuesday.
That was a nostalgic session.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope you have a wonderful evening. Until you see us next time, which will be roughly the same time next week, we have been...
Apparently.
Hello, boys. Pink lemonade?
Mom!